looks for Deutsch. Deutsch at the 1 into the end zone. Field play action now. Look to pass over the middle. It's intercepted by Cole Hebel. Intercepted by Hebel. Rears back, comes downfield, has Rodriguez. Rodriguez at the 40, to the 50, to the 40. Rodriguez is going to keep going.
All right, Fetting's got room, and here's Bo Fetting. Fetting's still on his feet. Fetting's gone.
Looking to pass, playing off, coming left side, picked up by Cotton. Alex Cotton with the pick, he'll take it back and into the end zone.
Turn and hand the ball off. Will Starkey, he thunders his way. 30, 20, one man to beat. He's got...
Middle's got a man, that's Friddle. Look out, Friddle, 40, 30, he's loose, 20, 10, touchdown.
Halstead Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated is proud to present to you this broadcast on yourliveevent.com.
And welcome to Hope, North Dakota. The road to the Dakota Bowl 30 begins today as the Maple River Raiders host the Richland Colts in the opening round of the 9B playoffs. A good Saturday morning. I'm Chase Miller alongside sideline color commentator Nathan Hoots and on-site producer Jake Watroba. And this is the Irie Insurance pregame show. Maple River finished the regular season with a 5-3 record in the first year as a co-op between the Hope Page and Maple Valley school districts for football. As we take a look here for the Maple River Raiders, earned a home playoff game by finishing 3-1 in Region 2, losing to Mayport CG in the de facto Region 2 regular season championship game from Jerome Berg Field in Mayville last week, 54-22. For Richland, they've won 3 straight games to close out the regular season with a 4-4 overall record, including a 22-19 win at Hankinson last week, and what became a win, and you're in the playoffs contest for the Colts, who went 2-2 in Region 1. And there's some history between both programs. In the second week of the regular season, Maple River topped the Richland Colts 24-8 in Colfax on August the 26th. Let's bring in Nathan Hoots on the sidelines today. As we take a look right now, it's about mid-40s, partly sunny, but we have a strong north wind. So, Hoots, that's my first question to you down there on the field. Looks like the playing surface is just fine, but if there's going to be any punts, any kicks, or anything through the air, how will these teams and players have to maneuver through Mother Nature here in mid-October?
I certainly think that could be a big factor here, especially special teams. Kickoffs, punts, even long snapping, anything that has to do with putting the ball in the air, which these teams do not like to do, could be a big factor in today's game.
For you specifically here, senior running back and linebacker Clay Hovelson for Maple River and junior running back and linebacker Nick Wolfcool for Richland, they're having carbon copy seasons, Hoots. They led their respective teams in yards rushing and tackles. Do you expect anything different, or might we see something different here today with these two particular teams?
If it'd be 70 and sunny and on turf, I'd say it could be a little different, but I mean, I think you're just going to feed the guys. You could see 75, 80 carries between those two guys today with the wind situation. I think both coaches are going to be very hesitant to put the ball in the air, especially long distances today.
You know, lastly, before we get to our coaches' interviews, what do you take away, if anything, from the first meeting in Colfax on August the 26th? I know there was a little bit of rain in that game, too, with Mother Nature, but what can you take away as a coach point of view here, Nathan? Would you say, okay, look at week 2 how the teams have changed, or is it what worked for us back in August can hopefully work for their respective teams here later today?
I think you maybe go back and watch the film one time and try to remember exactly what you did well in that game, but it's way more important to watch the last couple of weeks of film of the team that you beat a couple of weeks back. It's mentality-wise. If Coach Fontaine did a good job of flushing that win out of the system and letting them know, hey, what we did in that game means nothing because that was so long ago. Just move on and pretend like we never played these guys before.
Coming up on our Irie Insurance pregame show, we'll take a look at the 9B playoff bracket as the rest of the contest will kick off at either 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. Our keys to victory and sit down with both head coaches. First up is Richland head coach, that is Luke Worry. And a reminder, the broadcast of this tournament game has been authorized by special arrangement with the board of directors of the North Dakota High School Activities Association. It's the Richland Colts and the Maple River Raiders. The winner travels to top-ranked Lemoore Litchfield next Saturday in the second round in the 9B playoffs. Our Coach's Corner is next on your live event.
Sometimes it's tough being a dad. Kids grow up fast. Hey, girls. Oh, love it.
Dad, what are you doing?
I'm TikToking.
Is he serious?
Don't even want me around anymore. You know when I first started noticing it? When I stopped getting hugs. Hugs mean a lot to a dad. So With Command IQ, I found a way to get the hugs back. Watch.
Dad, the Wi-Fi is down.
Oh, let me see if I can fix it.
It's back. Thanks, Dad. You're the best.
With Command IQ, you can bring the hugs back.
As we continue on our Coach's Corner here today in the opening round of the 9B playoffs, joining us now is Richland Colts head coach, that is Luke Worry, as they get ready for their game against the Maple River Raiders. And for you, Luke, it was really playoff mode already for your squad last week, going up against the Battle of Richland County. Win, you make the playoffs, lose, and your season comes to an end. You at least get one more week with the win over Hankinson. Just recap that one for us, and what do you hope to take in that really grinder of a win against a rival here today in Hope against Maple River?
I guess yeah, to recap that game, the guys just did a really good job continuing to move the ball. We took a lot of time off the clock. If I have the stats right, we took about 35 minutes with the ball in our hands, so that was a big key to winning that game. And then the last 3 minutes of that game was it was scary. That Hankinson team, they do a good job moving the ball, and our guys just fought it out, ended with a interception, and they did a really nice job. So yeah, going into this week, we want to continue with that same game plan of just continuing to drive the ball, keeping possession in our with our offense, and that's really that's what our game plan is.
For you guys here, Luke, second time around in a meeting. I know the first time was second week of the season, so there might have been some different things for both teams compared to what we're going to see here, in mid-October now for the playoffs. But when you look back at that film, what can you take? Or is it, okay, both teams have maybe changed a little bit since that second meeting when you look back at your matchup with the Raiders and Colfax earlier this season?
Yeah, there was so a few things we weren't really prepared for was the fronts that they were going to throw at us on defense. And now as 6 games later, we've seen every front that can be thrown at us. We've all the way from a 2 front to a 6 front. It's which is good. And the guys have figured out how to block it, and they've done a really good job with that. That was one of the things, like with our offense, that we really struggled with. A couple things too in that first round, a couple big game changes. We had an INT late that led to a touchdown, and we had a drive stall because of a fumble. So just a couple mental errors that hopefully won't happen again. That should help take care of it this time around.
It seems like, when at least looking on paper, between Clay Hovelson, the senior running back and linebacker, and Nick Wolfcool for you guys, the junior running back and linebacker, that they're mirror images of one each other in terms of what they've been able to do for their respective teams. Do you expect that to continue here today with those two guys? We'll maybe get to another player or two later, but what do those two kind of provide from a coaching point of view? I would like to see them in the Oklahoma drill, just say, you're both running backs and linebackers, go at it. But I know there's 8 other guys on the field on offense and defense, particularly here, Luke. But when you take a look at these two guys from your point of view, are they similar?
They are pretty similar. He's a little bit bigger than Nick, and he does a really good job carrying the ball. He does a really good job getting guys to the ground on defense. He's definitely a concern for our defense. He does a really good job, and he's when he gets into the open field, he'll make you pay for it. So yeah. And then, with Nick, he's kind of the same way. He does a really good job grinding, running the ball. A week ago he took 38 carries. So he does a really nice job for us. They really are pretty identical players.
When you take a look at this here, and is there someone that's flown under the radar for you here this season, Luke, or someone who maybe hasn't got as much attention as we mentioned about Nick, that has allowed you guys to get the wins you've had this year, and more importantly, get here in the 9B playoffs?
One kid that's definitely flown under the radar, Elliot Bido, he's come on strong down the stretch here. And I would say both my tight ends, Tanner Zander has too. They've done a really good job when the few routes that we go out on, they've made big catches. That was a big game changer in the Hankinson game when Elliott caught one of our 2 passes for a touchdown. And then Tanner did a really nice job in the Hatton Northwood game where he got himself open, made two or three big catches for us that helped put games away.
Final thing for you, Luke, before we let you go here, just ultimately, what are the keys to the game for you guys? I know when you look at the stats, running the ball, establishing the line of scrimmage, obviously is probably number one, then trying to allow your defense to, wrap up and tackle number 22 on the opposite side and Clay Hovelson. That's probably top of the list, but ultimately for the Richland Colts to go on the road, pick up a win, head to Lemoore next weekend, what are 1 or 2 things that Richland has to do in this contest to win this football game?
One of the things that we really have to do this time around is making sure that we stay on our half of the 50-yard line. We gave up way too many big plays and we were fighting down in the red zone. I mean, we kept them out of the end zone probably 3 or 4 times, but with our style of offense, we can't be playing from their 20 to try and score. So that's going to be a big one. And then just making sure we get our defense off the field. We've been doing a good job of that as of late. So if we can do those couple of things, we should be all right.
Hey, Luke, thanks so much for your time and thanks for everything for the lead up during the week, and best of luck here today against the Maple River Raiders.
All right, thank you.
That again, Coach Luke Worry here for the Richland Colts. When we come back after this, we'll hear from Maple River head coach Larry Fontaine on our Irie Insurance pregame show.
Ziegler Ag Equipment, Highway 9, North Ada, just traded an MT845C Challenger tractor with PTO and a versatile 485 with 900 duals, 12x4 transmission, now new lower priced at $119,900. Ziegler Ag Equipment is your Woods dealer. Visit with Chuck and Neil for Woods mowers. Ziegler Ag Equipment keeps you on the cutting edge of ag technology. Ziegler Ag Equipment, Highway 9, North Ada, 218-784-2961.
In Hope, North Dakota, we aren't just a town, we're a community, one that you can be proud of, where you and your family can grow. With available jobs, affordable housing, a local golf course and pool, the Sportsman Club, and great educational opportunities, there hasn't been a better time to join the Hope community, ideally located between Fargo, Grand Forks, and Jamestown. For more information, go to www.hopend.com. Live, work, and play in Hope, North Dakota.
Goose River Heating and Cooling, Hillsboro, serving the Hillsboro and surrounding communities, ready to provide you with service work to existing and new customers. Whether Corey and the crew installed your heating and cooling system or not, they're ready to assist you with your service concerns. And if it's time to update your heating and cooling systems, whether it's your home, farm shop, a cabin, or office building, give Corey and the crew at Goose River Heating and Cooling a call. 701-430-1990. That's Goose River Heating and Cooling, Hillsboro, serving the Hillsboro area and surrounding communities.
As we continue now on our Coach's Corner here on our Irie Insurance pregame show, joining us now is Maple River head coach, that is Larry Fontaine, as they welcome the Richland Colts to Hope, North Dakota for the opening round here of the 9B playoffs. And for you guys, Larry, I remember way back in mid-August, before the season even started, we were talking about what would be some goals for the first year of the co-op, and you said, if we can host a first-round playoff game, that would be one of them. And you got the check here. Now it's about trying to get another check mark and getting a win in the playoffs. But overall here, how important is it in the first year of a co-op to reach some of these goals that you wanted to hit and now are seeing them come to fruition here this afternoon?
Good morning, Chase. How are you?
Good, Larry.
Good. Yeah, that was our goal, from the get-go when we met in Valley City in June. Looking at the schedule, I thought we'd go 5-3. I knew we'd had the 3 tough opponents, and the other opponents were tough, but I thought we could give those guys a game. And yeah, it's very important for us. We attained our first goal, and then our next goal is to win this first game. We're working hard trying to get to that goal. Richland's a good football team, and we want to win this game, and that'll be the second goal to attain. And then third goal is to beat Lemoore, but we got to get to that second goal first.
For you guys, Larry, how much can you take from game number 2 of your season going up against Richland back on August 26th in Colfax. Can you take a lot from that meeting, or do you kind of say, okay, there's 1 or 2 things that both teams have done well throughout the year, but they've changed also maybe a little bit? How much from a coaching point of view can you take from the first meeting?
Well, I've watched their game against Hankinson, their game against Mayville. I rewatched our game. They don't change anything. They run, run, run. Last week they ran 40 times with the Wolfkill kid, and then they threw twice. So they're a run, run, run oriented team. We knew that, and they haven't changed that. So we're going to run a different defense this week than we did previous, and just look for that short little pass. They don't pass a lot, but they have backs going out, and then just do a little 5 and out, and then they get the one kid, the tall kid, going deep. But we'll have Stevie Dragon on him. I call him the Dragon, but we'll have Stevie Dragon on him, and we'll have Connor watching the flats, and we'll have Dylan watching the flats. We'll have Clay patrolling the middle, and we don't have 2 kids that we had in August. We don't have Levi Trader. He's sick, and Riley quit. So, but you know what? Next man up will be fine.
For you guys, Larry, at least on paper, it looks like, you mentioned Wolfcool there for Richland, a guy that has over 1,100 yards rushing on the season. You look at Clay Holvelson, another guy who has over, the same amount of yards rushing on the season. So at least on paper, I would say from my point of view, it probably starts, so to speak, with Wolfcool for Richland and maybe number 22 Holvelson for you guys. Is that fair to say a little bit? If, those guys get going for their respective teams, that you feel like that, hey, we can have a chance if we stop, Wolfcool and Holvelson has a really good game offensively and defensively.
Yeah, their heart and soul is Wolfkill, and we're going to key on him both offensively and defensively. Defensively, someone's going to hit him every play. That might be Dylan Reamer. Just go out there and hit him. Put Dylan out on the wing, and where's 23? Go hit him. Because he makes most of their tackles. I think our speed is a lot better than theirs. They don't have a lot of speed other than Wolfkill. We have 6, 7 kids with decent speed, so that gives us the advantage, I believe. Richland's a good football team, and I knew that going in August, and I know it right now. And I talked to their boys after the game and told them we'd probably see them in the playoffs after that game. They're a good football team, and our kids are going to have to be ready. No team has really been able to stop Clay. I mean, he had 80 yards against more, and we didn't run him that much. Last week he had 192 against Mayville. Mayville's a very good football team. In the second half, we found I think we all played them the last 3 quarters. We just kind of got tired and didn't have our whole team. But we ran the ball against Mayville very well, and we could run the ball against Mayville. I think we have a pretty good shot at running the ball against Richland.
For you guys, Larry, you get to a game like this, and I always ask you who might be an X factor or who might be someone that has to step up. And in the last couple of home games that you had, we saw it was maybe a Dylan Reamer that had a really nice game, or a Marty Rohrbeck who, blocked a punt, was able to earn a pick and, get in the end zone as well in a 5-minute stretch there in the second quarter against Griggs Dakota. So as much as we talk about Clay Holvelson, and rightfully so for the numbers and the type of season he's having, it seems like when you guys get 2 or at least one other player really elevating their game, it makes it a little bit more tough to stop both offensively and defensively. So in this game where you're going up against a running team in Richland, who might be that X factor, so to speak, from your point of view here, Larry?
Well, we've got a couple different kids. You nailed it on the head. We like to give Dylan the ball. Dylan likes to run the ball, and he's capable of burning the ball. A lot of teams key on Clay, and then we hit him with Dylan. Dylan has had 100 yards rushing this year, at least once, if not twice. So he'll get the ball probably 11 times. And Marty is the X factor. Marty is a great football player. He really came on, had a great practice on Monday, has come a long way this year. There's no stopping the kid. He's got a motor that just doesn't quit. Like I said before, he's a Bronco rider or whatever the heck he does, rides horses and rodeo dude. He's just tough as nails. He'll have a big game for us. We won't have Levi Trader, so Kelvin Satrum's going to step in. He's going to take over Levi's spot on defense. Calvin's been coming around. And then Dylan will be fine. And T, Silling. We're going to throw. Watching the film against Richland, nothing against them, but their weakness is the pass. Mayville threw the ball against them. I watched the Lamar game against Richland, and they threw the ball, and we got a capable quarterback. So, we played them the first game. We had a couple key passes there, and I think T will be a big key too. And we got a little bit of a different offense we're going to run this week too, so we're going to try to throw a monkey wrench in at them.
Hey, Larry, as always, thanks so much for your time throughout the season. Best of luck here in the playoffs and hosting the Richland Colts here in Hope, North Dakota, and best of luck again here later today.
Thanks, buddy. Have a great day.
That again, Larry Fontaine, head coach for the Maple River Raiders, will put a wrap on our Irie Insurance pregame show after this.
Harvest is here, and that means we all need to be careful. Hello, this is Bethany Rentz with Irie Insurance. We want to make sure everyone up and down the valley has a safe and successful harvest. Take extra special care in your travels. Slow-moving combines, mud-covered roads, and debris are just a few things during harvest that can be dangerous. So take your time, watch your surroundings, and most of all, be patient and slow down. For more harvest safety tips, go to IrieINS.com.
You're protected and appreciated at Irie.
Irie Insurance is an equal opportunity provider.
As we continue here on the Irie Insurance pregame show, visit Irie Insurance online at IrieInsurance.com. Locations in Hope, Hillsboro, West Fargo, Mackville, Devils Lake, Towner, your leader in crop insurance with long-term care from health to life, disability, renters, and more. Again, this is our Irie Insurance pregame show. Chase Miller, Nathan Hoots, and Jake Watroba, and the wind continues to gust here as it gets closer to the top of the hour. So, Hoots, for you in this one. We heard from some of the coaches. Now, I want your keys to the victory here. Let's start with the visitors on our City of Hope scoreboard, the Richland Colts. What do they need to do well here today to find a way to get to Lamar next week in the second round?
I think controlling the line of scrimmage and combining with that time of possession, they have got to be on offense. 30 minutes in this game is something they're probably looking for, something crazy. 30, 35 minutes, just hang on to the ball forever. Keep Hovelson on defense. Do the best they possibly can to turn those long drives into touchdowns. You heard Coach Worry talk about it. Playing on the right side of the 50-yard line is what they need to do with this type of offense. Is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And then take advantage. I watched them in the pregame. Their quarterback was throwing a pretty good ball into the wind. So if they do decide to take that chance and catch the Raiders defense sleeping, a pass over the top, he was throwing the ball pretty well through the wind.
And Nick Muniz only threw the ball 61 times this year. He completed about 50% of his passes for 348, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Now on the opposite side here for the hometown Maple River Raiders, yes, I feel like it's a broken record, but appropriately so, with Clay Hovelson having over 1,200 yards rushing, leads the team in tackles. But what is the X factor? What needs to be the difference maker for Maple River to have something similar in their 24-8 win in week 2 of the season in Colfax?
I think it starts and ends with T. Silling today at quarterback. When the wind is blowing like this, they haven't had many games where the wind's been howling like this. Coach Fontaine in the pregame interview said that he's going to open up the playbook and throw the ball a little bit today. So it's going to be interesting to see that first pass he makes. Is he going to go, nope, never mind, we're going to go right back to the run game, or are they going to continue to go to him? He played pretty well last week against Mayville when he had time. And if he can build on that and take advantage of what could be, an advantage for the Raiders in the skill position guys here, throw the ball downfield, see what can happen when you got the wind at your back.
The Maple River Raiders and Richland Colts kick off the 9B playoff bracket here today. All other games are at 1 o'clock or 2 in the afternoon. At 1, it's Mulhall, Lansford, Sherwood at Siri. Hatton Northwood travels to Weimar, Lidgerwood. Kidder County at Henniger County. You have New Rockford, Cheyenne at North Border. At 2 o'clock, Larimore at North Star, and then Henniger, Scranton at South Border, and Tioga at West Hope, Newburgh, Glenburn. The 11B playoff bracket was announced earlier today. The number 1 seed and defending champ is Kindred. They will host Langdon area Edmore, Munich. The number 2 seed is Velvet, Drake, Animus, Garrison. The 3 seed, Hillsborough Central Valley hosting Lisbon, and the 4 seed, Beulah, going up against Bishop. Brian, that's just half of the 11B playoff bracket. That does it for our Irie Insurance pregame show. When we come back after this, it's the starting lineups and the opening kick from Hope, North Dakota. It's the Richland Colts and the Maple River Raiders on your live event.
Dakota Heritage Bank, serving you with 10 locations across North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota, has a strong background in ag and business lending, but they can also help with auto, recreational, personal, or home loans, including home equity lines of credit. Dakota Heritage Bank is a family-owned community bank where decisions are made locally. Our friendly staff greets you with a smile, takes the time to get to know you, and can help you with your banking needs. Visit us online, dhbanknd.com. Dakota Heritage Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hey, what you doing?
Crawling around under my planter trying to figure out if I need any maintenance parts replaced.
It's harvest time, buddy.
Yeah, I know, but the guys at RDK Enterprises keep reminding me to check now, just in case I need something ordered.
What do I look for?
Just give RDK a call and ask some questions. They are the guys I go to for answers.
This is Chris from RDK Enterprises, your local precision planting dealer. We will answer all of your planter questions or come out to your farm and take a look at your planter. Give us a call, 701-636-2119 or planterdoc.com.
Farming today doesn't always feel the same way it used to. Then again, some of it feels all the same. Maybe it isn't so much the jobs that changed, but how they get done. Now that's a different story. Efficiencies are critical, which is why you need a lender who will find the right loan structure for a strong financial future. You need a lender to look out for your whole farm operation. Ag Country.
Triple E Incorporated in Page is cheering on the Raiders. As they compete both on and off the field and on the court, you put in the effort to build a team with trust, experience, and the ability to accomplish your goals. The team at Triple E Incorporated is built the same way, with knowledge and experience that you can trust to get the job done with timeliness and efficiency. For your next non-residential building project, contact Triple E Incorporated, 701-668-2258, or stop by the office in Page. Make your next project a winner with a team from Triple E Incorporated in Page.
As we come back here, as we get you set for the starting lineups here for the Richland Colts, who won the toss and elected to defer to the second half here for Richland. So they will start defensively here as we take a look at the Colts defense with running a front of a 2-3-4. At times it will look like a four-man front with the outside linebackers coming down and playing at the line. Defensive linemen of Caden Carlson and Wade Gorder. Gorder, the junior, Carlson, the senior, at 6'3" with 32.5 tackles on the season. Linebackers of Elliot Bido, Nick Wolfcool, and also Hans Weinman here for Weinman, the 6-foot senior. Wolfcool leads the team in tackles at 53. Defensive backs of Preston Schmidt and Kason Sievertson, with Levi Alving and Teddy Flaw as well here for the Richland Colts. So that's a look at the Richland defense here for the Maple River Raiders. We'll get to them in a second here for Richland. 4 wins on the season, 2-2 in Region 1 play here for the Richland Colts. Again, 4-4 on the season, 2-2 in Region 1 play for the Richland Colts, averaging 17 points per game offensively, while defensively giving up 23. Now for the Maple River Raiders, as we take a look at their starting lineups here. For their center is Calvin Santrum, guards of Connor Dahl and Liam Santrum here, with the tight ends / wideouts of Wyatt Silling and Stephen Drogan. The winner of Dylan Reamer is the winger, with the fullback and Marty Rohrbeck, tailback Clay Hovelson, and quarterback T. Silling, the sophomore. Head coached by Larry Fontaine, 5 wins, 3 losses on the season, 3-1 in Region 2. Offensively averaging 31 points per game, defensively giving up 25. The Richland Colts, under the guidance of head coach, that is Luke Worry. After losing 4 straight, Richland won 3 straight here to make the playoffs, while Maple River lost to Mayport CG last week. All roads lead to the Dakota Bowl on November the 11th at the Fargodome. Nathan Hoots, final keys here on the sideline for you. Gorgeous day, all things considered, and hope if the wind can go down a little bit, but for the most part can't complain about where we're at, because we could have a foot of snow at particular times during this time of the year.
Exactly right. Sun feels good. If we can keep that sun out, it's going to feel real nice today. I think special teams is going to come down to that. I think we're going to talk about that a lot today. Richland kicking with the wind to begin here. It's kind of shifting back and forth between the north and the west, so they're hoping to come straight out of the north here and see if they can pin the Raiders back here to start.
I'd like to thank Irie Insurance again for bringing our sponsor here for our pregame show as we get set for this football game between the Richland Colts out in their white uniforms with those baby blue numerals with the gold as well. The Richland Colts logo on either side for the Maple River Raiders in their dark blue uniforms with the white numbering and lettering here with the outlined in red. Ball at the 40-yard line, 4 12-minute quarters here on our City of Hope scoreboard. Opening kick is, well, right at high noon on schedule. It's a wobbler here, picked up by Maple River as the Raiders will come to the near sideline, and Maple River get taken out of bounds at about the 30 here for the Raiders with Steven Drogan, and the Raiders will start offensively here where we're going to hear a lot of number 22 hoots, but who might be that X factor today on the Raiders offense?
Yeah, I think you could talk about Dylan Reamer. We talked about T. Silling early. Wyatt's been making really big plays. Wyatt Silling down the seam for him. It's just who's going to step up and shake off those early nerves.
As they'll come out here with that wishbone offense here under center is T. Silling. Silling sees a 4-man, 2-man front little counter play that's going to go to Hovelson, tripped up in the backfield by Wolfcool. Well, I like when our pregame comes into fruition. Well, we said Hovelson and Wolfcool are two guys that are mere images of each other. One gets the ball and one makes the tackle.
Just take a peek. They ran counter there with Hovelson. They had 7 guys on the left side of the ball when it was snapped at the end. If they run any type of counter, it's probably 4-on-2 for the Raiders coming back this way.
And it's going to be interesting to see where we have seen an opportunity with Levi being out at the guard spot today. Connor Dahl, the fullback, is going to be one of the lead blockers now as all of a sudden you go from a wishbone to a little bit different of an offense here in the shotgun formation for Silling. As you're going to have Hovelson in the slot, looking to throw. Here is T, 4-man front. T steps up, fires. That's going to be incomplete at the 34-yard line. Wolfcool with the batted down pass as they're looking for Connor Dahl. That time split out, coming on a little bit of a drag route there, makes it 3rd and long.
Very dangerous throw. That was about 6 inches away from being 6 points for the Colts.
And that's one where you can kind of see throwing against the wind where it kind of floated a little bit there. Hoots, from your point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't come out very well, and it just kind of hung up into the wind. It's going to be really important here to try to get 4 or 5 yards and maybe put yourself in a position to go for it because punting into this wind could be a problem.
Chase Miller, Nathan Hoots, Jake Wotroba, the 3-man crew with you here on YourLiveEvent.com. Opening round in the 9B playoffs. Winner gets to the second round coming up a week from today against the defending champ in Lemoore, Litchfield Marion. They go with the spread this time to the Raiders. Motion man going left to right across the formation is Rohrbeck. It's a Wildcat to Hovelson. Hovelson gets a block to the 35, puts the helmet down, and he powers his way for the first down to the 41-yard line.
There was that Wildcat formation that we had talked about earlier, and they ran it on the first possession. It didn't look very good in pregame warm-ups. They were snapping it to the wrong guy, but he obviously had faith in it, what they did on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week to run it early on.
And it's a gain of 11 yards, and how about on 3rd and 9, Hoots, to call for it. Now they got the block on the near sideline to spring that little lane open for Hovelson, but on a 3rd and 9 to call that play, you put a lot of trust in your senior tailback.
Take some guts, and also you're putting faith in your long snapper or your center every play now because it's a lot more difficult to snap than you think with the wind.
On our City of Hope scoreboard from job listings and housing options, search HopeND.com. That's HopeND.com. The first down of the day goes to the Raiders. They go Wildcat again, this time to the outside. Hovelson makes a cut back in. Wolfcool with the tackle, but Larry Fontaine said, hey, we're going to throw a little wrinkle offensively at them, and right now that wrinkle's a Wildcat. It's worked for 11 and now a gain of 6.
It really works if you have a quarterback that's willing to throw a block, and Mr. Silling did there in the first possession. They blocked it well. 4 or 5 yards in the first play is really good.
So far, Hovelson, 3 carries, 18 yards. T. Silling is 0 for 1 through the air. Last time these two teams met on the 26th in Richland at Colfax, it was a 24-8 win for the Raiders as they go back to that wishbone formation here. Pitch play is going to go out to Hovelson. Hovelson gets to the boundary to the 50-yard line, and he's taken down maybe a yard shy of the first down. But we've seen the counter, we've seen the pitch, we've seen the Wildcat, and they're going to give him the first for a gain of 5.
Yeah, he was 2 yards short, and then a stiff arm gave him just enough room to get the edge and get the first down.
One thing that we've said throughout this season is Maple River not as big against their competition up front. And for the Colts, they have Caden Carlson, a 6'3 senior at 210, and then Wade Gorder, a 6'3 junior at 210, going up against guys that are 170 or 175 across the board. But sometimes it's the old leverage game, and right now the leverage here for the Raiders. As we're 3 minutes into the opening drive for Maple River. This one, little counter play up the middle. Rohrbeck is dragging defenders with him to about the 41-yard line as he's tackled on that play. Looks to be with Severson making the tackle.
Rohrbeck hits that hole so hard you had no idea who had the ball until he was 3 yards downfield, and it turns into a 7-yard gain.
What are you seeing up front here from Connor Dahl, Calvin Santrum, and Liam Santrum so far, and then the tight ends of Wyatt Silling and Drogan opening up some lanes?
I think they kind of embrace the underdog role here. No one believes them as they run up to the line of scrimmage. They are undersized every single week, and they've done a nice job so far in this first possession.
2nd down and 3. Hovelson to the left here of T. Silling. Motion man going right to left is Reamer. This one's going to be right up the middle with Silling, and Silling is going nowhere. Give a lot of credit to Wade Gorder with the bear hug to bring him right up top, and it's going to be a 3rd down and 3 upcoming here for the Maple River Raiders.
I think the Raiders are going to find out in a hurry here that it's going to be a lot more effective for them stretching it horizontally this game rather than trying to pound it in between the guards.
One thing that Richland coach Luke Worry said, hey, time management, our game plan is to possess the ball, keep the ball away. Well, right now that's what Maple River is doing, and Hoots, we were talking before the game, you might have a half of just maybe 6 total possessions if both teams like to run the football like they've had so far this season.
That's exactly right. Yes, you want to get points on this first possession, but anytime you're driving the ball into this type of wind, you want to take as many minutes off the clock as possible.
The Raiders need the 38 at the Colt 41-yard line. Making a cutback there is T. Silling. He gets to the boundary. T looks for the first down right in front of head coach Larry Fontaine. T did a lot of herky-jerk, but got enough for the first down of 4 yards on the rush.
Herky-jerky is exactly right. That was very unorthodox, but just good enough to get that first down. If he would have put his foot in the ground, he probably wouldn't have got it, and he just kept dancing all the way to the sideline and picked up that first.
And for the Raiders here, we've been seeing them get to the outside, the inside, but after that first pass play by T. Silling, we haven't seen him go through the air hoots since then.
You wonder what went through Coach Fontaine's mind that first possession, or that first pass play. Are they going to trust him to throw the ball here because they got man-to-man across the board?
As right now they have 2 wide receivers to the near sideline here. Wildcat, this is going to be a reverse then on the play to Rohrbeck. Breaks not 1 but 2 tackles, but gets wrapped down finally after Levi Olvine, the junior defensive back, able to make it a 5-yard loss on the play. So some eye candy there, and the Richland Colts did not bite.
Yeah, they did a great job of understanding their responsibilities and made sure whoever had outside leverage did a great job of making sure that whoever had the ball, they did not get to the sideline.
So far for Maple River, this will be their 10th play of the drive. They're led by Hovelson with 4 carries for 23 yards, but now in a 2nd and long situation on our City of Hope scoreboard, nearing the midway point of an ever-moving quick pace first quarter. Pitch play goes to the outside of Hovelson. Hovelson gets to the boundary, gets the 5 yards back and some, and Hovelson makes it now 3rd and at least manageable here for the Raiders, which no question is 4-down territory.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Definitely 4-down territory. Credit to Dylan Reamer there. He didn't knock anybody over, but he impacted 2 different tacklers coming trying to make a play on Hovelson.
And we got a timeout on the field. We'll break with him on our City of Hope scoreboard. It's the first drive in a scoreless game on your live event.
There's more at 104. Hillsborough, North Dakota has everything you need on your next road trip. Food, fuel, fun, and family-friendly activities. Stop by and fill up your tank or grab a bite to eat. Have a blast at Goose River Golf Club, the swimming pool, or one of our beautiful parks. There's even ice skating and cross-country skiing. Take in the sights or stay the night so you don't miss a thing. Experience Hillsborough and see why there's more at 104.
As we come back here, first time out taken by the Richland Colts, and Luke Worry, from your coaching point of view, Hoots, why would you take a timeout there in this situation if you're the Richland Colts? I know some people are probably asking the particular reason, but from your point of view, what would be a reason here early on in this contest?
Well, if you watch the film, you understand what they like to do in this situation and probably try to key on that and maybe send a blitz in that direction to try to blow it up and make it a 4th and really long for them here. Sometimes you just, we talked about it. They got 16 guys on their team. They might just need a breather every once in a while. It could be strategic timeouts just halfway through the first quarter. We're going to take one, catch our breath, and get ready for a really big 3rd down here.
And curious to see if they were going to go Wildcat again, but they're able to go under center with the wishbone formation. We've seen the pitch play a couple times to Hovelson, as this one will be a fullback dive. Rohrbeck bounces it out to the outside of the 35, cuts back in, and he able to get by Severson before he is tackled for a good gain, though. The tackle by Preston Schmidt, but it goes from the 34-yard line to the 30, so he got half of what he needed with 4th down upcoming.
Yeah, it certainly turned in kind of we called that 31 trap or 31 dive back when I coached, but that turned out kind of a 31 bounce. And he realized he got nothing, and he quickly turned it upfield to the outside as best he could.
As for the Raiders here, it's going to be 4th down and short. upcoming. They will need the Richland Colts 27-yard line for the first down. So under center goes Silling yet again. T, the sophomore. Trying the hard count here. This one will be a little counter play to Hovelson, who lost his balance for a moment but got enough of the first down. Sometimes you hear coaches say, put your foot in the ground and get north to south. In this case, how the field is, and hope he went east to west, Hoots, and he got the first. Wolfcool with the tackle.
Yeah, that was impressive stability by him. His one foot slipped, but his next one got him right back on balance and enough just to get the first down. Well done.
6 carries for 35 yards, 3 for 6 for Rohrbeck, and 2 for 4 yards for Silling. This drive started at their own 29-yard line and has matriculated all the way down to the Richland Colts 26. Under center again goes Silling in this wishbone formation for the Raiders. Pitch play outside of Hovelson, makes a cutback at the 25-yard line, and he gets tackled past the 20 or about the 20, so a gain of 6. And one thing we've seen by the Raiders outside of one time on first down, Hoots, positive yards on the offensive side.
Playing ahead of the sticks is exactly what you got to do when you want to. When you're a run-based offense, 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 7 or anything better than that is exactly what you want. So you put yourself in, hey, 3 yards, we got a first down. You couldn't have drawn up a better first possession here for the Raiders.
For Maple River, 2-2 at home this season against the 9B playoff field. 2 wins and 3 losses on the season. 2nd down and 4. They'll stick with the wishbone formation here. This one going to be bounced to Reamer, and Reamer able to get close to the first down. You got eyes on it, Hoots. Maybe a half-yard shot.
Yeah, going to be third and a short one, I think.
So far, what does that eye candy, though, do with that counter play where you kind of sweep everyone left and come back with Reamer there coming back up the middle?
It just gets those linebackers second-guessing their reads. Even though their reads are correct, anytime the ball is not in 22's hands, you think you're making the wrong read, which probably gives Dylan an extra step in the right direction.
Maple River has taken 8 minutes off the City of Hope scoreboard yet, and they have yet to give the ball to the Richland Colts, and it's 3rd down and short here for Silling under center. Hand off. This one goes to fullback trap again. Rohrbeck has the first down. Now it's a 1st and goal situation after a gain of 8 yards.
Well done. Marty had the first down if he wanted it, but he kind of danced. I hope he continues to hit that hole hard. Because later in the game, the way the defensive line is aligning, they're giving him those 1 and 2 holes pretty easily. I mean, you could look at a QB sneak and get 3-4 yards here if you wanted. But if he dances too much and they have good outside contain like they have in the past, that might not be as successful later on.
The Richland Colts have done a nice job swarming to the ball and tackling, and Maple River has just said, hey, we'll take the 4 or 5 yards, and quite honestly, this might be a similar situation when Richland gets the ball offensively. Right. Live event.
Farmers, are you expanding, upgrading, or want to automate? Visit with the experienced staff at Hope Electric to learn about the latest electrical systems and the newest technologies that they have developed to make your operation more efficient. Get a custom system in place with features like iPad truck loading and remote view grain storage, touchscreen controls, hazard monitoring systems, and wireless cellular cameras to protect your assets. Hope Electric, serving the agricultural and commercial industry since 1978. Visit hopeelectric.com or call 701-945-2460.
Back here on an 18-play, 71-yard touchdown that goes 10 minutes and 17 seconds off the clock here on your live event. As for the Richland Colts, they'll get the ball now offensively here for the first time today. Hoots, what did you like from the Maple River point of view there on the opening drive to get it in for 6?
Sometimes you just want to drain as much time as you can off the clock when you're driving into this type of wind. You couldn't have drawn up a better possession. They just took their 3 to 4 yards every single play, executed on a couple big 4th downs, and then punched it in at the end.
Jeff Nold, John Arfer, Brian Ersted, Mike Lean, and Calvin Riggs are officials here today for the 5-man crew for the Richland Colts. They will get the football here as putting this one on the tee will be Santrum. That's Calvin for Maple River. Here's the end-over-end kick that's going to go to about the 20-yard line, rolled up there with Wolfcool. Wolfcool gets to the 30, picks up a block to the 35, and taken down at the 36-yard line. So good starting field position here for the first time for the Richland Colts, who average 17 points per game, 264 yards of total offense. But Hoots, here's the big number, 221 come on the ground here for Richland.
Yeah, very impressive. Now, as a coach, do you panic and try to get a big play here with the wind because you only have it for a minute and a half, or do you just see what you can do running the football like you have all year?
For Richland, they have been led by the junior tailback and Wolfcool at 5'11", 170 with over 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns on the season. The junior quarterback and Nick Muniz under center. Full house backfield. This one little trap play that's going to be able to go to the aforementioned Wolfcool to the 39 for a gain of 3. Up front here for Richland, guards of Wade Gorder and Cade Carlson. Wyman is the senior center. Tight ends of Tanner Zander and Elliot Bido with Teddy Flaw, Otto Doctor, and Wolfcool in the backfield. We'll get to Maple River's defense after this play. But a full house backfield here for the Richland Colts. Love the Baby Blues. 9-man state champ back in 2015 and 2005 in program history. Looking to pass for Severson. He goes down the field, has a man incomplete at the 35-yard line looking for Zander. And how about the defense of the safety and Steven Drogan?
That was a great play. He kind of took an odd route, but once he realized there was going to be a pass, he immediately got into a back pedal and found his man. But I love the play call by the Colts there on the early possession. Able
to pitch it on that one, as that's going to be incomplete pass as well here for Richland. Now they'll quickly get back to line here on a 3rd and 7 play. Ball will be at the 39-yard line. They'll need the 46 for the first down here. Pitch play goes to the near sideline to Wolfcool. Gets the 40, and he's taken down by Connor Dahl for a gain of 1.
Team speed really showed up right there. The Raiders rallied up and made a big play. 3-4 guys right there.
Defense, we were going to see a 5-3-1 or a 4-4-1 here for Maple River, and so far we've seen the 5-man front of Wyatt Silling and T. Silling at the end spot. Defensive tackles of Rohrbeck and Liam Santrum, which means the nose guard is Calvin Santrum here today. Linebackers of Reamer, Hovelson, and Dahl, the safety, and Drogan. What do you think of the 5-3-1 by Coach Fontaine?
I think the only thing that stands out to me is that the Raiders are playing a safety. They don't ever do that. It's typically man-to-man across the board and pack the box.
As the Richland Colts will need the 46, they're going to go for it. Pitch play to Wolfcool. Good pursuit coming here by Maple River, and the Raiders defense holds. How about the pursuit by the Raiders, particularly at the linebacker spot there to turn Wolfcool and the Richland Colts away?
Marty Rohrbeck blew that up in the backfield before it even got started. His pressure from the D-tackle position at that size is unreal.
And Maple River now will have a golden opportunity here late in the first quarter on our City of Hope scoreboard, starting on the Richland side, positive territory at their 40-yard line here for the Colts.
Just look for a basic run or maybe a sweep play here to get them to the second quarter to have the wind.
So first down upcoming here for Maple River as they will continue to come out in that wing wishbone formation. This one will be a handoff. Hovelson gets the 35. Good push on the way there by Maple River with Rohrbeck, and that'll end our first quarter play for a gain of 6 yards. After 1 quarter play on our City of Hope scoreboard, it's Maple River 6, the Richland Colts scoreless here on your live event.
The Maple Valley School District is moving forward with the plan to build a new pre-K classroom, community fitness center, and gymnasium with locker rooms. The classroom will provide more space for a growing pre-K program. The fitness center will provide opportunities to benefit all Maple Valley communities, and the gym will allow more opportunities for all activities of the Maple River Co-op. Plus, the plan is to build with no new taxes. Contact the business manager to see how you can help make this a reality today at 701-749-2570.
The Maple Valley Parents Organization is an organization whose main purpose is to support all Maple Valley student activities and to promote a healthy environment and attitudes for the youth. Their aim is to encourage growth and interest in these areas by supporting them in a sportsmanlike manner. The Maple Valley Parents Organization is open to anyone. If you'd like to become a member or see upcoming events, like their Facebook page by searching Maple Valley Parents Organization on Facebook.
Chase Miller, Nathan Hoots, Jake with trouble with you here after 1 quarter play on our City of Hope scoreboard. The Raiders lead it by 6 on what is just the second possession here of half number 1 for Maple River. A little wildcat play goes now to Hovelson. Hovelson to the 30-yard line, 25, look out, 20, and he's pushed out of bounds by Severson on a potential touchdown saving tackle. They'll mark him down at the 15 for a gain of 19.
Both Silling boys with fantastic blocks. T to start the play, and then Wyatt just strung them all the way to the sideline. That probably gave Clay an extra 15 yards down the sideline.
And for Maple River, now that's their largest play from scrimmage. 12 carries, 75 yards, and a score for Hovelson, who had nearly 200 yards on the ground against Mayport CG last week in Mayville. Shotgun formation continues as they'll be at the far hash in front of the Raiders bench. T. Silling looking to throw a little quick screen, goes out to Rohrbeck. Rohrbeck to the 15-yard line looking to make a cut. Severson and Wolfcool able to come in and make the tackle, but not before it's a gain of 3 yards. Marty Rohrbeck on the outside there. Typically, we don't see him all the time on the perimeter for Maple River.
A little bit of a wrinkle there. Usually that's Hovelson in that slot position with either, the fake quick screen or throwing it to him over there to Hovelson, but Marty being over there is certainly a wrinkle.
So a touchdown that went 10 minutes, 17 seconds, 18 play drive, 71 yards off the clock. Then a turnover on downs gives a short field here for Maple River, and the Richland Colts defense has forced a 2nd and 7. Shotgun again. Motion man is Reamer. Wildcat, it's behind Hovelson, and Hovelson gets taken down the backfield back at the 21-yard line. Just enough behind him that switches up the timing, and coming in is Elliot Bido on the tackle for a loss.
I don't know if the snap came a little later than anticipated, but T. Silling kind of took off a little early, and I think the timing got off just by half a second.
So a minus 9-yard play there. What is the play call coming up here on a 3rd and about 15 or 16 for the Raiders?
Sweep, definitely sweep. Get 4 or 5 yards for sure. You've gotten that every single time you've run it. Maybe you get a chunk and get it to 4th and a couple.
Let's see if they're going to go with that sweep play. Hovelson and Reamer are back there. Hard count here. Looking to pass, looking for Silling. This is brother to brother, younger to older, in the end zone. Touchdown, Maple River. T to Wyatt, and the Raiders now lead it by 12.
Fantastic play action. Got the Colts to suck up and then T hit Wyatt right down the seam. Beautiful play call.
Oh, you were talking about the sweep play, and they were able to send 3 guys out into the pattern. But nice job by Wyatt Silling, able to go right down Broadway there, and a nice throw through the air as well, Hoots, by T.
Yeah, couldn't have asked for a better throw. Into the wind, you really got to control your trajectory when you're throwing that pass.
As we can smell the cannon fire coming through with the wind here. This will be a handoff to Hovelson. Hovelson makes a cutback and walks into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. A new score, and with 10:14 left to play in the first half, it's the Maple River Raiders up by 14.
Farming today doesn't always feel the same way it used to. Then again, some of it feels all the same. Maybe it isn't so much the jobs that changed, but how they get done. Now that's a different story. Efficiencies are critical, which is why you need a lender who will find the right loan structure for a strong financial future. You need a lender to look out for your whole farm operation. Ag Country.
As we continue here on our City of Hope scoreboard, a 14-0 contest now for the Maple River Raiders over the Richland Colts after that 21-yard touchdown reception on 3rd and long. T. Silling hit his older brother Wyatt for 21 yards, and all of a sudden it's a 2-score advantage. Hoots. That was a really nice job by the defense for Maple River. Then offense on 3rd and long, able to come back after that 9-yard tackle for a loss to make the play. That's one where you might circle, could say that's an RDK Enterprises precision play of the game there on 3rd and long to finish that drive off.
Absolutely, that's a great answer, especially after a negative play of, would you say, 9-yard loss.
Correct.
On 2nd down, 3rd and 15 to take that chance.
Satchram will put this one on the tee. This is going to roll to Wolfcool, who picks it up at the 20-yard line to the 30. Wolfcool gets popped by Hovelson and hog-tied down at the 30-yard line there. So for Richland, a reminder, they started on defense here, so by no means this is a must score, but you don't want to afford to have a turnover on down or a 3-and-out and give Maple River short field. That was something that Coach Worry said earlier, saying if we're going to win, speaking we of Richland, we have to find ways to sustain drives, sustain the ball, and try to give the ball to our offense in short distances, but right now they'll start at their own 30-yard line with the full house backfield coming up here with Nick Muniz again under center. This one goes to the outside and tackle for a loss is Liam Santrum coming in the backfield after Teddy Flott got wrapped up for a loss of 3.
Defensive line from the Raiders have owned the Colts offensive line here the first 5 plays of this game.
Teddy Flott came in with 8 carries for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns, but really nice job that time by the Richland Colts. And what we saw there with Liam Santrum coming in, this 5-man front again, maybe causing a little bit of issues as they've been able to contain mostly everything so far here with Drogan Spine at the safety spot about 6 yards off of scrimmage. Wolfcool able to push the pile forward to the 33 for a gain of 5. A tackle comes by Reamer, but Hoots, you literally have 9 men in the box about 6 yards from the line of scrimmage defensively here for the Raiders with how Richland likes to play offensively.
Yeah, it's hard to call Stephen Drogan a safety when he's lined up at the normal linebacker depth. They're just absolutely selling out. Everybody's got a gap. That's the first time this game, though, that the Colts have gone forward with a Raider guy sitting, waiting rather than attacking.
Well, it's 3rd and 8 here for the Colts. We'll see what they can muster up here on 3rd down. This will be a little counter play that goes to Schmidt. Schmidt to the 34-yard line before he's wrapped up there, and that'll be 4th down and 6 upcoming here for Richland.
Tough decision here as a coach. You can't imagine you're going to net a whole lot if you decide to punt, but if you don't get this, you're giving the Raiders the ball again inside their own 40.
That's a tough one here. As we mentioned, the Colts get the ball to start the second half, but you don't want to give them a short distance and possibly get up by 3 scores right now if they would put it in the end zone. So for head coach Luke Worry, it looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th down. Might we see a hard count by Nick Muniz, the junior quarterback? 3 men right at the line here for the Raiders with this 5-man front. They're able to have this little trap play again that's going nowhere. The Raiders stick it yet again with Dylan Reamer and Clay Holvelson after the run by Schmidt, and it's a turnover on downs.
It's interesting to see they're not going to the guy that's got over 1,000 yards for him on the biggest play of the game thus far.
So a downs there again for Richland. So Maple River for back-to-back drives will start in Richland Colt territory with 8:14 left to play here in the first half at the Richland 35-yard line. What's been the positive thing from defensive and offensive line spots so far for the Raiders? So why are they winning this?
They're athletically using all of that talent to seal guys off on the edge and just use that speed rather than their strength up front.
Maple River, who went first? Was it the line or was it Liam Santrum possibly for Maple River? Was it the D-line or the O-line? As they had 3 wideouts split out to the right-hand side. The officials will talk it over here and see if it's a going backwards or going forwards for Maple River, and they say it will be against the Raiders. This will be the first penalty of the game, and that'll be 1st and 15.
Regardless of who it was on, I really, as a former coach, you always like seeing them come together as an officials crew and make sure that everybody's on the same page rather than one guy just sprinting in and telling them what it is. I like it when they get together and make sure they're all on the same page.
And, we like it when there's not too many flags either, right? Meaning it's a good, clean game that the officials don't have to worry about pulling out that yellow hanky.
That's exactly right.
So 1st and 15, here for the Raiders. Motion man coming across is Reamer. High snap, Holvelson with it to the 40, to the 35, and he gets popped right at the 35-yard line. Coming in on the tackle is Levi Olvine here, but not before a gain of 6. And that Reamer motion, Hoots, reminds me of the CFL a little bit, where you get guys in motion a little bit, and he's able to get a full head of steam and try to be that lead blocker at particular times on this Wildcat formation.
I agree with that. T. Silling's got to be careful. He is ever so close to coming in motion and moving forward or sideways at the snap, which would either be an illegal shift or illegal motion, depending if the Raiders have a guy coming in motion already.
Colts will go with man coverage across. It's trips to the right-hand side here for Maple River. Silling looking down the field for his older brother again. That's at the 5 end zone, and for the second time in the quarter, T. Silling finds Wyatt Silling. This time for 34 yards right down Main Street, and it's all Raiders in the opening half.
Same play we saw on the first play of the game when Griggs Midcoda came to Hope a couple of weeks ago. That pump fake on the bubble hit the guy wide open. He had his choice. He could have thrown outside to Reamer or inside to his brother.
You have Wyatt Silling, 2 catches for 55 yards and 2 scores here, and the Raiders are opening this game up here in this second quarter up 20-0 against the Richland Colts in this wing Wishbone formation. Handoff goes to Hovelson. Hovelson not going to get there. The 2-point conversion is no good, but 3 possessions and 3 scores for Maple River on our City of Hope scoreboard. It's 20-0 Maple River on your live event.
We've been around long enough to know that research in the lab reaps rewards in the field. At the Cess van der Haaf Innovation Center, we're working to develop sugar beet varieties that thrive despite the pressures from disease and the challenges of nature. We're dedicated to improving what we produce, so you can be too. Contact your local Cess van der Haaf dealer to learn about our varieties suited for your soils, because sharing the pride of success starts with sharing the passion to achieve it. Cess van der Haaf, a passion that grows.
My roots run deep. I dream of a world where planting a seed can bring forth the food and knowledge our world needs right now. The field is my classroom, and I have the power to make a difference. I am going to feed the world someday.
First year in co-op history here for Maple River, the co-op of what is the Hope Page and the Maple Valley school districts here, and trying to get their first win in co-op history in their first season for the Richland Colts, made up of the towns of Abercrombie, Christine, Colfax, and Galshoot. Satchram end over end kick that's going to roll to the 10-yard line. Wolfcool picks it up at the 11, now to the 20. Wolfcool to the 25, breaks a tackle, look out 30. He's got room, could he go? Trying to get by Satchram 50. Wolfcool into Richland territory, now to Maple River. Picks up a block and Wolfcool is gone! Touchdown Colts! That goes for 89 yards, and the Richland Colts needed a shot in the arm, and bringing it is the junior tailback in Wolfcool on the kickoff return that goes 89 yards to the house.
I don't know what the missed tackle counter was there, but I bet you it was 6, 7, 8. Raiders had a good chance to get him, and that was just an outstanding athlete making a great play.
Able to break a tackle, and when you break a tackle in North Dakota 9-man football, you've got space, and Wolfcool might need some water, might need a break, but getting the 2-point conversion. We were just talking off air here how, you know what, something needs to go right maybe for Richland, and well, the ball just bounced right for the Colts that time as they'll come out with a full house backfield here, and a chance to get it in for 2 is Severson. Severson trying to push the pile forward, trying to spin in, and he is not going to get in, but for the Richland Colts, they will still take it as they trim that deficit now to 14 points after Richland takes one to the house. And Nathan, I know you mentioned special teams here, but I don't think that was the kind of special teams we were thinking with the win. It maybe be a high snap, might be a punt that, you know, hangs up in the air, but Wolfcool made a guy miss at the 30 and then was able to get by Satchram, picked up a block down the field, and house call coming there for the junior.
As a coach, you never want to see the ball land on the ground when your team is returning a kick, but it actually might have worked out there. The guys on the left-hand side, the Raiders sideline side, kind of overran the play, and that led to the cutback. Once he made a guy miss on the right-hand side, he was able to run through that seam that the Raiders created by overrunning the initial kick. It's just great execution by Richland, needing that big shot in the arm, like you said.
And for the fans out there in the month of October, you like to check out some corn mazes or possibly check out a little bit of some straw bale and a pumpkin patch, well, you can do so at the Valley Corn Maze and Pumpkin Patch. The Lost in the Valley Corn Maze and Pumpkin Patch going on at the Red River Valley Fair until Sunday, October 30th. There's everything from a kid's straw bale maze, the pumpkin bowling, cornhole, and more. Tickets available at redrivervalleyfair.com. Weather permitting, so make sure you check out their dates for special events and what the weather brings. Admission is $10 per person. Ages 2 and under and free at the Valley Corn Maze and Pumpkin Patch at the Red River Valley Fair. Again, for more information, go online to redrivervalleyfair.com. So for the Richland Colts, now down by 2 scores, will come on and put this one on the tee here for Richland as Logan Frederick. This will be a wobbler, and it's free. And fortunate here for Maple River to get back on the ball there by Connor Dahl as he picks it up right at midfield at about the 47-yard line.
I like the idea right there. You haven't stopped him yet. You might as well try to stay on offense.
And for Maple River, I'll get the ball here with 7 minutes left to play. And if you're Coach Larry Fontaine with 7 minutes left in the second half, you'd just like to take as much time potentially off the clock here and not give Richland the ball back. before you get to our halftime report. 2 wide receivers split up both left and right with Silling. Motion man again is going to be Mr. Reamer, but to the outside goes Hovelson. Hovelson to the 50-yard line, breaks a tackle. Hovelson to the 45 and delivers the hit as he's going to be awfully close to the first down.
Another little wrinkle out of that Wildcat. They brought Reamer rather than bringing him all the way across in motion. He stopped about halfway there, and then he was the man sealing the guy on with contain. That freed up Hovelson to kind of lower the boom there.
And, yeah, Elliot Bido might have taken a little bit of the hit with Severson on the outside, but 9 yards on that one for the rush for Hovelson. Hovelson so far 15 carries for 81 yards, and I think they're making sure that Severson is all right there as he was adjusting his helmet as well here for the Richland Colts.
He took quite the hit, and I don't know if his head snapped back and hit the ground, but it'll be interesting to watch him here on this play to see how he's doing.
So 2nd and short. We have not seen the power eye yet for the Raiders. Seen more of the Wildcat, the spread, and the wishbone. Tosh play goes back to Hovelson here. Hovelson gets tackled for a loss, this time by Wolfcool, who comes in, and that one got maybe right back to the line of scrimmage of where those spotted. 3rd and short upcoming, but what a play by Wolfcool. Wolfcool just kind of shot out of a cannon. You have the linebackers here of Bido, Wolfcool, and Wyman here today for Maple for the Richland Colts. Richland with Carlson and Gorder, the 2 guys in the middle defensively. And then from there, trying to have more of a 4-man front with those outside backers. Try not to allow Hovelson or anybody to get to the outside and break containment. 3rd and short with Silling under center. Handoff goes to Hovelson. Hovelson breaks a tackle. Hovelson 40, Hovelson 35, bringing Colts with him as he gallops his way for the first down.
This kid is so strong. He missed. I mean, he made like 5 guys miss on a power play inside the guards. That is just absolutely impressive.
Bring your lunch bell here, Clay Hovelson. 17 carries, 92 yards, and a rushing touchdown. We might say Clay might have 35 attempts on the ground before this afternoon is done.
It wouldn't be a terrible, idea from Coach Fontaine to just keep giving him the ball. You're getting 4 or 5 yards pop at the very least.
Under 5 minutes to play on our City of Hope scoreboard in the first half. And for Maple River, they have all 3 timeouts remaining before halftime. Richland, they have 2. Pitch play goes back to Hovelson, looks to pick up a block by Reamer. He's able to sideswipe a person past the 25 to close to where he needed to get the first at the 23, pending the spot, and they'll mark him 2 yards shy of the 25-yard line.
So often most people just see who makes the block on the outside to spring that play right down the sideline, but what is really important is the backside linebacker loves to come through the open gap and make that play when he's trying to string it out. Marty Rohrback did a great job of going about 2 yards downfield and then swinging back and getting 23 right in the gap, and he slowed the whole thing down for the Colts defense.
2nd down and 2 here in Richland's defense. It's the old bend but don't break and give some yards up, but you want to keep them out of the end zone at least. A little almost fumble on the exchange. Hovelson maybe got a yard, but Hootsy probably had a better advantage point there from the QB to running back delivery, Nick, as Caden Carlson comes in for the tackle.
I think T. Silling thought it was a pitch play, and I believe Clay Hovelson thought it was a lead, and they were kind of stuck in the middle, and it was a little bit of about a 1-yard toss rather than a 3 or 4 yard sweep play.
For Maple River this season, 2 wins and 2 losses at home. The losses against Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion, and Weimar Lidgerwood. The wins coming against Enderlin and Griggs Dakota on homecoming and senior night. 3rd and short here for the Raiders, and well, that'll be T. Silling, and we will have a late play coming from the near side, but I think it's the right call as they were trying to get the play off. You saw about 2 guys at the line spot for Maple River shoot off their spot about a second before you actually had T with the ball, and it will be 3rd and 6.
And too many guys moving, but T's got to be careful. He can't take that snap and stand straight up in the air. That's when you take a shot to the ribs that you're going to be feeling for the next couple weeks.
And the winner of this game gets, well, the team that has yet to lose this season and the last year as well, the Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion Lobos. It's been nearly 2 years since they lost a football game. That'll be in Lemoore next week in the 2nd round of the 9B playoffs. 3rd down and 6 here for the Raiders. This will be a high snap. Hovelson back to the 37-yard line. This one gets strung out, and Hovelson with Wyman able to maybe get 2 yards on that play, but that's the danger there of that Wildcat play if it's going to Hovelson or Sillington. We've seen that now a second time where the snaps just spin a little bit off, and fortunately for the Raiders, they did muster 2 yards out of that play.
A little high, and both guys were reaching for it, which caused a bit of miscommunication, and they didn't know who was blocking. Just lucky that it's not 4th and 15 right now.
The line again for Maple River. Connor Dahl is the guard with Liam Satcham at the right guard, and Calvin Satcham is the center. 4th down here. Mark this one for those scoring at home. Could be an RDK Enterprises precision play if Richland is able to get the stop and then go down the field and score, or can Maple River find 6 here later in the drive? They will need the Colts 23-yard line, so 4 yards on 4th down. Speed option play. T. Silling hopping, bringing a Colt with him, and he dives forward, and it looks like he's got enough for the first down.
That's your wrinkle right there. Too many eyeballs on 22, and that allows T to have a gap inside to attack. And he did a great job of stretching, getting that long body out there to get that first down.
Good job there with Carlson trying to bring him down to 25, but you talk about with your momentum moving forward. Well, he hopped forward for the first down, Hoots.
Yeah, anything you got to do to get that first down in October is what you got to do.
As we're nearing the 3-minute mark here in a drive that started at the 47 for the Raiders, at the 7-minute mark. First down and 10, looking for the pass play, looking for Silling. That is wide again, and that's incomplete as the coverage on the outside coming here for the Richland Colts on the outside was able to be with Tanner Zander, as Zander just put his hands up, and unfortunate there for the Raider fans. Wyatt Silling was looking for his 3rd receiving touchdown of the day.
Now, if you're a first-timer watching high school football, you're thinking, how is that not pass interference? He never turned his head to make a play on the ball. Well, in high school, you can face guard. You never have to turn to make a play on the ball. You get your hands up and just play defense on him. If the ball runs into you, great.
Perfect play then by the 6'4 senior in Tanner Zander. 2nd and 10 after the Raiders look to take a shot. This one's going to be Rohrbeck, fullback dive, and not today on the second opportunity here as Wade Gorder was going. Not today, my friend. We've seen that one work a couple of times, and Wade able to come up and stop Rohrbeck right at the line of scrimmage.
That play might have to be trashed for the rest of the game. It worked once really, really well, and every single time since then he's had to bounce it and try to go to the outside. You might as well toss it to Reamer or Hovelson if you're going to look to go outside.
3rd down and 10, but the old adage, Hoots, you got to keep the defense honest, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. I agree with that.
So 3rd and 10 here, and for Maple River, able to take a shot, went to Rohrbeck. Now you wonder where's number 22 in Hovelson, as we've seen this Wildcat package a handful of times so far here in half number 1. Or will Silling get it in the gun? Silling does get it, looking for a Hovelson. Pocket collapses. Here's the pitch play to Hovelson at the 25. Makes a man miss. Wolfcool, but then coming in for the stop is Gorder at the 18-yard line for a gain of 4. It'll be 4th and 6.
If they come back to that exact same formation, they got the kid they've been throwing to, Wyatt Silling, one-on-one with a backer that he's probably got 4 or 5 inches on. It might be a play to go and try to run that seam route again.
Stay tuned for our halftime show coming up here as we will take a look at the first half numbers, recap the scoring action, and also get to other games. No other game has kicked off yet at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock as we're nearing the top of the hour. That's still the more to come on our halftime show here on your live event. It is a 4th down and 6 here for the Raiders. They'll need the Colt 12-yard line with 80 seconds left to play in the opening half. This one goes to Hovelson. Hovelson to the 15-yard line, dragging Colts with him to the 10, and he's got enough for the first down.
Now you start thinking you got minute 12 to go, 1st and goal. You want to take this thing all the way. If you can score with under 15, well, actually with the kick return for a touchdown, you might want to score with no time left here in this first quarter or the first half.
And well, this has been the perfect drive for Maple River. Started at their own 47-yard line with 7 minutes on the clock. They have taken 6 minutes. Again, their first drive of the game, 18 plays, 10 minutes, 17 seconds off the clock that went 71 yards for a touchdown. And this is very reminiscent of it. The Colts aren't giving them the big play, but Maple River is living with the 4, 5, 6-yard runs here today. This one will be with T. Silling looking to bounce it out here. Gets to the boundary at the 10 as he's able to deliver a couple of yards, and the ball will go out of bounds. Preston Schmidt was looking to contain him, but T was able to get around Schmidt there for a gain of about 5, and he'll make it. They'll say that was 1st and goal, so it'll be 2nd and goal upcoming here for the Raiders.
They're flirting with disaster every time they run that play. I'm really concerned that one of these times is going to be snapped and the wrong guy is going to catch it. And 4 or 5 yard loss at a minimum.
And we've seen that once or twice as well, Hoots, where it's been that tackle for loss. The one thing is Maple River has able to rebound from it so far here this afternoon. This will be to Hovelson. Hovelson looks to walk into the end zone for the second touchdown today for Clay Hovelson. 22 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns here for the senior.
It seems like the most unstoppable play in the book today for the Raiders is that simple lead to the 4 or 3 hole. They just get so many bodies out in front of him that are uncovered, and he's just walked in every time they've run it.
Maple River able to execute here and just continue to find ways to get it in the end zone, but also take some time off the clock. Hovelson will have a rushing touchdown here. His second one of the day, both from a little distance out of 5 yards, and the 2-point conversion upcoming. Hovelson goes to the left-hand side. Hovelson walks into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. A new score on our City of Hope scoreboard with 32 seconds left in the opening half. It's Maple River 28, Richland Colts 6. It's high school football here on your live event.
Harvest is here, and that means we all need to be careful. Hello, this is Bethany Rentz with Irie Insurance. We want to make sure everyone up and down the valley has a safe and successful harvest. Take extra special care in your travels. Slow-moving combines, mud-covered roads, and debris are just a few things during harvest that can be dangerous. So take your time, watch your surroundings, and most of all, be patient and slow down. For more harvest safety tips, go to irieins.com.
You're protected and appreciated at Irie.
Irie Insurance is an equal opportunity provider.
Still to come on our halftime show, we will recap again what happened in the opening 24 minutes of this one, a game that kicked off at high noon that has a good pace to it, as we will get to the half more than likely before the top of the hour. For Richland, 2 timeouts remaining. They do get the ball to start the second half. Now it's just a matter, if you're Coach Fontaine, do you want to squib kick, or do you want to kick it deep and allow Wolfcool maybe a second chance at taking one to the house? That's the only score so far for Richland, is that long return for Wolfcool that went 89 yards.
There's a giant gap between the second and third lines of the kick return formation here for the Colts. You might want to try to drop one in here and see if we can keep it away from them.
So Satcham, that's exactly what he's looking to do, as the wind picks up with the gust that rolls to Wolfcool to the 14-yard line. Wolfcool to the 20, to the 25, 30, and taken down there at about the 31. It's not too bad a starting field position here for Richland. The problem is 26 seconds. We'll see if they take a chance or two down the field going into this windy conditions.
Much better job there by the Colts sideline of the kick defense for the Raiders. They stayed home. They forced everything back inside to the teeth of the return and did a great job of wrapping up and tackling.
So full house backfield again, or that like a little bit of a wing T, if you will, very similar of what Muniz will be under center here for Richland. Muniz looking for the pass down the field. Pocket collapses. Muniz dancing, able to get out of 1 sack. He still has a little bit of daylight at the 30 and taken down at the 35-yard line. Ball comes out. Richland pops on it with Severson at the 36. The clock will continue to roll here, and we'll see if Richland gets a timeout. They do with 7 seconds left to play. We'll take it with them as the clock now is down to 6 seconds on our City of Hope scoreboard on your live events.
Dakota Heritage Bank, serving you with 10 locations across North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota, has a strong background in ag and business lending, but they can also help with auto, recreational, personal, or home loans, including home equity lines of credit. Dakota Heritage Bank is a family-owned community bank where decisions are made locally. Our friendly staff greets you with a smile, takes the time to get to know you, and can help you with your banking needs. Visit us online, dhbanknd.com. Dakota Heritage Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Time out by Coach Wari here for the Richland Colts with 6 seconds left. So they try to take a shot that time down the field, but the Maple River Raiders, good job in the secondary, but we saw the elusiveness there by Muniz, and that's maybe something where you make adjustments in the second half, Hoots. Maybe you get your quarterback on the boundary a little bit with Wolfcool and have that chance. We know coming in, I asked head coach Luke Wari, saying, so what do you guys run offensively? You know, power T, I formation, shotgun. He goes, we're the full house backfield under center the entire time. But the one thing is when you got a quarterback that broke a couple tackles in the backfield there, you know, he could be dangerous for a defense.
Exactly right. See if they go to that toss pass play they ran on the second play of the game. Maybe try to open something up.
Full house backfield will continue here As three-step drop now for Muniz. Muniz throws it down the field. That's going to be complete at the 50-yard line, and that'll end this first half of play. That'll go to Bido to the Raider 47-yard line for a gain of 18 yards, and that's the best play from scrimmage for Richland as we're going to go to break. At the half here on our City of Hope scoreboard, it's the Maple River Raiders 28 with 22 points in the second quarter, 6 in the first, while the Richland Colts with 6 points in the second quarter and scoreless in the first. Stay tuned for our halftime show coming up next here on your live event.
Sometimes it's tough being a dad. Kids grow up fast. Hey, girls. Oh, love it.
Dad, what are you doing?
I'm TikToking.
Is he serious?
Don't even want me around anymore. You know when I first started noticing it? When I stopped getting hugs. Hugs mean a lot to a dad. So, with Command IQ, I found a way to get the hugs back. Watch.
Dad, the Wi-Fi is down.
Oh. Let me see if I can fix it.
It's back. Thanks, Dad. You're the best.
With Command IQ, you can bring the hugs back.
Hey, what you doing?
Crawling around under my planter trying to figure out if I need any maintenance parts replaced.
It's harvest time, buddy.
Yeah, I know, but the guys at RDK Enterprises keep reminding me to check now, just in case I need something ordered.
What do I look for?
Just give RDK a call and ask some questions. They are the guys I go to for answers.
This is Chris from RDK Enterprises, your local precision planting dealer. We will answer all of your planter questions or come out to your farm and take a look at your planter. Give us a call, 701-636-2119 or planterdoc.com.
At the half here, it might be an old-fashioned play of keep away in the opening round in the 9B playoffs as the Maple River Raiders in the first half with 38 plays of offense to Richland's 10. Now, in fairness, Nick Wolfkuhl took 89 yards on a kickoff return for a touchdown. But, Hoots, if you're Larry Fontaine right now, we'll start with them. What has been the things you've liked from the Maple River point of view in the opening 24 minutes?
I think understanding the situation with the weather that we have today, it's beautiful out except for the wind. And so their idea has been, hey, let's keep it on the ground. We'll take a chance here and there, but let's keep the ball in our possession as long as possible. I don't know what the exact numbers were, but I would say the Raiders had the ball for at least 20 minutes in that first half.
And on the opposite side, if you're Richland, again, defensively, you've been tackling fairly well. There has been 3, 4, 5 yards here for Maple River, so you're not giving up the big play. You're forcing them to have a 10, 12, 18-play drive. The problem is they've had the 10, 12, 18-play drive, so if you're Richland, what has to change here in the second half?
I think you got to give them a different defensive front, whether, you go to a 5-man front or you go down to a 3-man front and just bring backers and constantly be blitzing as much as you possibly can. You got to keep those offensive linemen of the Raiders, thinking so they're not just reacting.
Lastly, for you, Hoots, before we take a quick break and then come back and go over the first half numbers, what has been the play of the game in your mind in this first half? Is it the Drogan pass breakup after they went with Severson looking down the field for Xander and then, able to, on a little bit of a wrinkle there, throw a trick play out after Maple River had that 18-play, 10-plus minute drive that went, nearly the length of the field? What has been the play that's been the difference maker in your mind so far?
Yeah, I would say it's either got to be that or either one of the fourth down stops that they got. But, if you're looking at a singular play, Drogan kind of got turned around, but as soon as he realized it was pass, he got back, got his hands up. That was a 60-yard plus touchdown if he doesn't make that play. So, individually, I'd say that is the play of the game thus far.
He's Nathan Hoots. I'm Chase Miller. Jake Watroba behind the scenes on-site producer on our City of Hope scoreboard in the opening round of the 9B playoffs. It's 28-6, Maple River over Richland. Colts with the football to start the second half. When we come back, take a look at the first half numbers from Hope on your live event.
Stay up to date with the latest goings-on in the region with the Coaches Show every Wednesday night on yourliveevent.com.
Deep down the middle, has a man, Soka Porter. Soka Porter to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, and taken down there.
We'll dive into the latest stories from North Dakota and Minnesota.
And there's the block by Reese.
That's the Coaches Show with me, Joe Lancello, on yourliveevent.com every Wednesday night starting at 7.
Ziegler Ag Equipment, Highway 9, North Ada, just traded an MT-845C Challenger tractor with PTO and a versatile 485 with 900 duals, 12x4 transmission, now new lower priced at $119,900. Ziegler Ag Equipment is your Woods dealer. Visit with Chuck and Neil for Woods mowers. Ziegler Ag Equipment keeps you on the cutting edge of ag technology. Ziegler Ag Equipment, Highway 9, North Ada, 218-784-2961.
In Hope, North Dakota, we aren't just a town, we're a community, one that you can be proud of, where you and your family can grow. With available jobs, affordable housing, a local golf course and pool, the Sportsman Club, and great educational opportunities, there hasn't been a better time to join the Hope community, ideally located between Fargo, Grand Forks, and Jamestown. For more information, go to www.hopend.com. Live, work, and play in Hope, North Dakota.
Goose River Heating and Cooling Hillsboro, serving the Hillsboro and surrounding communities, ready to provide you with service work to existing and new customers. Whether Corey and the crew installed your heating and cooling system or not, they're ready to assist you with your service concerns. And if it's time to update your heating and cooling systems, whether it's your home, farm shop, a cabin, or office building, give Corey and the crew at Goose River Heating and Cooling a call. 701-430-1990. That's Goose River Heating and Cooling, Hillsboro, serving the Hillsboro area and surrounding communities.
Harvest is here, and that means we all need to be careful. Hello, this is Bethany Rentz with Irie Insurance. We want to make sure everyone up and down the valley has a safe and successful harvest. Take extra special care in your travels. Slow-moving combines, mud-covered roads, and debris are just a few things during harvest that can be dangerous. So take your time, watch your surroundings, and most of all, be patient and slow down. For more harvest safety tips, go to irieins.com.
You're protected and appreciated at Irie.
Irie Insurance is an equal opportunity provider.
As we come back here on our City of Hope scoreboard on your live event, let's take a look at the first half numbers in this one. First for the Raiders so far with 209 yards of total offense, a $147 on the ground with 62 yards through the air, 32 rushes for 147 yards, no turnovers, and 2 penalties for Maple River. Leading rusher Clay Holvelson, 22 carries, 116 yards. You had 5 carries for 14 yards for Rohrbeck, and T. Stilling 4 carries for 14 yards. Dylan Reamer 1 for 3. T. Stilling through the air 4 of 6 for 62 yards and 2 scores. Those 2 touchdowns went to older brother Wyatt, 1 of 21 and 1 of 34 yards. Rohrbeck 1 catch for 3, and Holvelson 1 catch for 4. For the Richland Colts offense, 13 carries on 8 attempts, 18 yards through the air for 31 yards of total offense. Nick Muniz, 1 of 1 for 18. Severson Cass is 0 for 1. Bido with the lone reception of 18 yards. Teddy Flaw, 1 carry for -3. Muniz, 1 carry for 4 yards. Wolfcool, 4 carries for 9 yards. And then Schmidt, 2 carries for 3 yards. 0 turnovers and 0 penalties here for the Richland Colts in this one. Taking a look at our scoring recap. Maple River, opening drive of the game, 18 plays down the field, capped by a Holvelson 5-yard touchdown. Then T hit Wyatt Stilling for a 21-yard score. The 2-point conversion was good as well to make it 14-0. T found Wyatt yet again with 7:18 left to play in the first half for 34 yards. 2-point conversion was no good at the time. It was 20-0 on the ensuing kickoff. Wolfcool would go 89 yards to the house, and then Maple River finished off their final drive of the half with a Holvelson 5-yard touchdown. 2-point conversion by Holvelson as well, making it 28-6. We'll take a quick break. We're back after this with a look at other games going on across 9B football today in North Dakota on your live event.
Dakota Heritage Bank, serving you with 10 locations across North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota, has a strong background in ag and business lending, but they can also help with auto, recreational, personal, or home loans, including home equity lines of credit. Dakota Heritage Bank is a family-owned community bank where decisions are made locally. Our friendly staff greets you with a smile, takes the time to get to know you, and can help you with your banking needs. Visit us online, dhbanknd.com. Dakota Heritage Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hey, what you doing?
Crawling around under my planter trying to figure out if I need any maintenance parts replaced.
It's harvest time, buddy.
Yeah, I know, but the guys at RDK Enterprises keep reminding me to check now, just in case I need something ordered.
What do I look for?
Just give RDK a call and ask some questions. They are the guys I go to for answers.
This is Chris from RDK Enterprises, your local precision planting dealer. We will answer all of your planter questions or come out to your farm and take a look at your planter. Give us a call, 701-636-2119 or planterdoc.com.
Farming today doesn't always feel the same way it used to. Then again, some of it feels all the same. Maybe it isn't so much the jobs that changed, but how they get done. Now that's a different story. Efficiencies are critical, which is why you need a lender who will find the right loan structure for a strong financial future. You need a lender to look out for your whole farm operation. Ag Country.
Well, as we take a look here, what's still to come across the state of North Dakota, other games literally just kicking off right now. We're already a half into our 9B football contest. Some other games today here in the top end of the bracket. Mulhall-Lansford Sherwood at Surrey. Winner plays against number 8 St. John, the Woodchucks, next week. Larimore, the Polar Bears at North Star. The winner plays at 4th-ranked Cavalier. Then Hatton Northwood at Wymer-Lidgewood. Winner plays at Mayport CG. Hoots, the top end of the bracket here in 9B playoffs. What kind of stands out to you taking a look at some of the games that are in this half of the bracket?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel bad for Mayport. Ended up getting that 5 seed. Selfishly hoping they'd be on the bottom of the bracket the way they played Lemoore in that game a couple weeks back. You know, there's so many games that in years past, it's like, okay, you can automatically chalk all these guys into the Dakota Bowl or at least into the semifinals. I think there's a lot more parity this year. I think we're going to see really, really good quarterfinal games, semifinal games. Dakota Bowl all the way through is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, number 4 Cavalier, number 5 Mayport CG might be that quarterfinal round game with the winner potentially to play number 1 Lemoore if the seeds hold. Bottom half of the bracket, Kidder County at Henniger County. Winner plays New Salem Almont, the Holsteins. Henniger Scranton at South Border against the Mustangs here today. Winner plays number 7 Grant County Flasher. New Rockford Cheyenne at North Border. Winner plays number 3 North Prairie. Then Tioga at West Hope, Newburgh, Glenburn. The Sioux winner plays the Maroons, Divide County on the bottom half of the bracket. Going into the second half, we always make mention, the coaches say it, if you can win 4 minutes late in the second quarter, take the next 4 minutes in the third quarter, you can really find yourself in some good real estate and a chance to win a ball game. Well, it was really good 4 minutes for Maple River to end the first half, but Hoots, Maple River will have to start defensively here. Is this a must-score situation here for Richland with what we've seen with possessions and how much time it's taken off the clock when these teams kind of like to continue to run the football?
It's absolutely a must-score, and, you know, I feel like we've said this every single week, whether it's, you know, Maple River down or Maple River up. The first possession of the second half is virtually a must-score here because you can't give the ball back down 22 to a team that you have yet to stop today. So you just got to start looking at every single possession. You know, if the first one takes 5 or 6 minutes and you get a score, that's okay. But then after that, it's going to have to be quick strike, and that doesn't exactly define the Colt offense.
You can check out more games across the Red River Valley coming up this week by going to yourliveevent.com. From football to volleyball to everything in between, or simply hit subscribe on our YouTube page by searching Your Live Event and check out some other games upcoming throughout the day, and also for other games going on if you want to watch any of Friday Night Lights from last night. We'll take a quick break. We're back after this with the second half. It's the Colts and the Raiders in Hope on Your Live Event.
Triple E Incorporated in Page is cheering on the Raiders. As they compete both on and off the field and on the court, you put in the effort to build a team with trust, experience, and the ability to accomplish your goals. The team at Triple E Incorporated is built the same way, with knowledge and experience that you can trust to get the job done with timeliness and efficiency. For your next non-residential building project, contact Triple E Incorporated, 701-668-2258, or stop by the office in Page. Make your next project a winner with a team from Triple E Incorporated in Page.
There's more at 104. Hillsborough, North Dakota has everything you need on your next road trip. Food, fuel, fun, and family-friendly activities. Stop by and fill up your tank or grab a bite to eat. Have a blast at Goose River Golf Club, the swimming pool, or one of our beautiful parks. There's even ice skating and cross-country skiing. Take in the sights or stay the night so you don't miss a thing. Experience Hillsboro and see why there's more at 104.
As the wind continues to howl here in Hope, coming in, but the nice thing is the sun is out. Mid-40s or so, but wind gusts and pretty much coming almost directly across the field here now in Hope, North Dakota. It's the 9B football playoffs, the opening round here. The winner to face number 1, Lemoore Litchfield Marion, next week coming up here in Lemoore. As Satcham puts this one on the tee at the 40-yard line. This one a wobbler that hits off a Colt leg to about the 39-yard line, and Richland will take over there. After pouncing on that football is Preston Schmidt.
You see how he laid the ball down there on the tee there?
I like it.
And laid it down sideways with purposeful. We don't want to kick this ball up in the air because you never know what it's going to do. So just squibber on the ground and try to get as many yards as possible.
Richland with 4 possessions in that first half. The one touchdown was off the kickoff. Then they had a couple of plays late. So really, they almost only had about 2 possessions offensively in that first half.
Yeah, it was absolute dominance in the ball control department by the Raiders.
As right now here for the Colts, they'll come out in this full house backfield, taking a snap to throw is Muniz. Muniz has some time to throw now, looking down the field, and that one's going to be incomplete at the 30-yard line. Going up for that ball was Connor Dahl, and coming back was Tanner Zander. Ball a little bit underthrown. Good job by Zander to come back and really become the defensive back where him and Dahl switch positions.
Great coverage by the Raiders all the way around until the very end where Dahl got beat just a bit, but he did a good job of playing the ball in the air. Also, that offensive line from the Colts gave Muniz a ton of time. Be interesting to see if they're going to try to chuck it around here in the second half.
Yeah, rolled them out a little bit, but as you said, a lot of time, just unable to find anyone there was Muniz. Now it's 2nd and 10, so taking some shots early on in the possessions. This will be a handoff. Nice little inside trap play to Wolfcool. Wolfcool has some speed at the 50, spins at the 45, and is taken out the 41-yard line. That is the best play from Wolfcool. Came in after the first half, 4 carries for 9 yards, and he doubled that there with a 19-yard gain.
Great job blocking. That was had guys going the wrong direction for the Raiders, and then Wolfcool came back, and good job here by Steven Drogan to force him back inside to help.
And a little bit of a trap play there. I know you always say, how can you lose the best guy on the opposite play, but kind of going through that wash, right? Hoots, and all of a sudden here comes 23 right up the middle.
That's exactly right. Hit him really, really fast with guys going the wrong direction. They kind of had a guard pulling out the wrong way just to get guys moving in the opposite direction.
Full house backfield here for the Richland Colts. 3rd play of the drive. Muniz will step up. That'll be across the middle to Zander. Drogan in on the coverage of a tackle, but 8 yards there, and quickly the Richland Colts 3 plays already at the Raider 33-yard line.
Muniz with a great job of climbing up the pocket. That is not typical of a high school quarterback. Most high school quarterbacks, the first time they see pressure, they immediately sprint out to their dominant side, typically to the right. But he did a good job of going underneath Wyatt Stilling's pressure, coming up and then hitting the guy over the middle.
Muniz today 2 of 3 through the air for 26 yards. Tanner Zander with his catch. That's the first one, 7th of the season. 2nd and short here for the Colts. This will be a handoff to Mr. Teddy Flaw. Flaw might be right at the sticks. He needed the 31. It looks like he'll get enough of the first down as Dahl and Hovelson come in on the tackle. So Flaw with 2 yards, 2 carries for now minus 1 yard here. And for the Richland Colts, 10 plays again offensively in the first half. This will be play number 5 on this drive alone.
Well, they're able to open up the playbook a little bit here with the wind at their backs. They know it's a must-score drive here.
So the Colts will be at the 30-yard line as Richland under center with Muniz in a fresh set of downs. Muniz will take the strop here at the 40, and he's wrapped up and taken down back at the 41-yard line by the senior defensive tackle and Liam Satcham.
2nd tackle for loss for Satcham. Does a great job of getting off the ball. He just beat his man one-on-one and then wrapped up and finished him.
That's a tough play there. Is almost looks like he on the exchange of the center in Wyman to the quarterback there, Nick Muniz, a little bobble that half-second, just unable to make that 3-step drop and go. But one thing when we see the 3-step drop, looking to get those tight ends involved and also getting the fullback or the running back out into the flat as well. So second down here for the Colts in a country mile. Ball between the hashes at the 41-yard line. Muniz, QB keeper, almost on the ISO, and he's going to get met up at about the 39-yard line. Hovelson there on the wrap-up.
A nice job. I think the design initially was to try to run it through about the 4 hole, but good job by T. Silling and both Marty Rohrbeck on that side to force everything back into the middle, and then Hovelson's just sitting there waiting.
The Colts 2-2 on the road so far this season against the playoff field. They went 1-4 with their win against Hetton Northwood a couple weeks ago to end September 34-22. Winner plays Lemoore. Lemoore beat Maple River. Lemoore led Marion 50-0 here and hope to start the season and top Richland 49-0 later in the year on September the 16th. Third down and long for the Colts. Muniz steps, Silling trying to rip up for the tackle, and he does! Bringing him down is Wyatt Silling, the senior defensive end, for a big loss of 10 yards.
Tremendous pass rush by just bringing the defensive line. If you can do that and still have guys in coverage, you know you're going to have a big advantage in 9-man football.
Casson Severson will come on and punt here, and the Richland Colts take 4 minutes off the clock. They were able to get a 19-yard play by Wolfkuhl, an 8-yard pass play by Tanner Zander, but then once it went downhill hurry here for Richland on 4th down, as Severson will be back at his own 40-yard line to try to get this punt off. This one is a banger. The wind takes it. Hovelson sees it go into the end zone, and that'll be a punt of 48 yards, a net of 28, 1st and 10 here for the Maple River Raiders coming out. As it sounds like the wind is picking up speed down there. Hoots a little bit more on the field.
It's a little stiffer than it was in the first half. It's definitely picking up. That's a tough punt to make when in high school kids just try to kick it as far as they possibly can. Well, that's not exactly the goal when you got this wind. You only got to kick it about 15 yards if you wanted to try to stop them inside the 10 there.
Well, for Richland, they'll need a quick defensive stop here. If you're Maple River, the clock is your ally, so even if you don't score, but if you can matriculate the ball down the field, get a couple of first downs, eat 4 or 5 minutes off the clock, that is what the Raiders are looking for offensively. Little fullback trap here by Marty Rohrbeck again, and Rohrbeck gets to the 25, fumbles the ball. Looks like the Richland Colts got it, and one play they do. Richland has the ball here, one play, and it's wrapped up, and Elliot Bido comes up with the fumble recovery.
Yeah, he just decided to make a play on the ball rather than trying to make a tackle, and he ended up with it right in his lap.
So Bido, just what the doctor ordered here if you're a Richland Colts fan, as you handle it in positive territory now as well at the Raider 26-yard line.
Careful, the big play right here to try to take advantage with the momentum.
As this will be with 7:37 left here in this third quarter. Handoff, and Richland unable to muster much there. Good pursuit by the Raiders linebacker spot as Wolfkuhl gets back to the line. 6 carries now for 28 yards. And if you're Richland, if you score here, you make it a 2-score game regardless of the 2-point conversion. But this is one of those opportunities that come knocking as a head coach, Hoots, and if you know you got to take full advantage of right now where we're at in this ball game.
Anytime you start possession on your side of the 50, you have got to get 6 at a minimum.
As the Colts will come out here with that full house backfield. They've done that exclusively so far here today. Schmidt gets met at the 25-yard line, taken down there as he had Dahl and Hovelson up high and down low, and it'll bring 3rd and 10.
I'd like to see Wolfkuhl get about 90% of the carries here. It seems like every time he's touching the ball, good things are happening for the Colts.
The Colts right now, they don't need everything for the first down, but they're going to at least want to get a good 4 or 5 yards here on this chunk play. We'll see if they go to the 6'4 frame of Zander or the 5'10 tight end of Bido. They've done that once or twice today, or is it, hey, let's get Wolfkuhl involved one more time and see if he can break a tackle. Muniz under center on 3rd and long. Muniz will be looking to throw, and coming in is Wyatt Silling to finish him off was Liam Satcham, but it's another sack here for the Raiders in the third quarter.
Definitely the biggest play of the second half thus far for the Raiders right there, pushing them, not out of field goal range. That's not a factor here, but at least out of Wolfkuhl run range. If it would have been 4th and 5, everything's open, but now you're not going to punt it anymore. You're going to go for it, but the playbook is pretty minimal right now if you're a Colt fan.
I tell you what, Hoots, it's 3 sacks here by the Raiders defense as well. What has been Wyatt Silling? It seems like he's another pursuit, another animal coming out in him a little bit here.
Yeah, it's very impressive. He's rushing really well under control rather than getting 4 or 5 yards deeper in the quarterback, which has been a problem before.
The Raiders can give up anything to the 16. Little quick play that goes to Severson. Severson breaks the tackle at the 30 and then taken down at the 26-yard line. So it goes 8 yards, but it'll be a turnover on downs. It is a good stop here by the defense by the Maple River Raiders. So turnover on downs there, and that'll allow Maple River's offense to come on the field for the second time here in this third quarter. Every time you look up, now you go, okay, 5:25 left to play. As Severson got a little nicked up here as they'll handle.
I think they might be looking at him again. Early on, he got hit pretty hard by Hovelson, and he got up and looked a little woozy. Came out for a drive, came back in, and I'm just wondering if he took another shot again right there.
As you have the head of trainers here making sure that he is all right. And we'll see if number 2 returns here in Severson for the Richland Colts for the remainder of this game. But right now, if you're Maple River, still 3 scores where special teams play can be vital, and we've seen that by Richland. But if you get a score here, a chance to put the game out of reach. A low snap, Hovelson handles it, and Hovelson able to muster a couple of yards. Coming in on the tackle was Wade Gorder, and Hovelson able to get a gain of 3.
You know, if the Raiders are able to hold on and win this week and move on to play next week against Lemoore, I think that's something that we're really going to work on. I think it was thrown in late in the week just as a wrinkle, as Coach Fontaine was talking about, but, you know, shoring that whole Wildcat formation up, making sure the snaps come at the correct time, get to the right guy, and, you know, working on that timing with the motion man is going to be key for them.
Yeah, that's the timing is the main element. Also, as you said, Hoots, you might find yourself in a fumble situation too on a bad snap, as they'll go more to the wishbone formation here for Maple River. Handoff, this one is going to go to Hovelson. Hovelson looks to break a tackle at 35, and we'll have a flag coming out back at the 25-yard line. Right now, Hovelson about a yard shy of the first after the gain of make that 7 yards, and it will be a holding on the Maple River Raiders. This will be from the spot of the foul and bring it back.
I think that might be their first. Oh, they had a false start early in the game, but, you know, very clean with you running the ball 40 times thus far. To have your first holding call in the third quarter is impressive.
Yeah, 2 penalties for 10 yards in the first half. That is the first holding. We are able to see that false start as well here for Maple River, but the spot of the foul makes it 2nd and almost 20 here. It is 2nd and 20 now coming for Maple River.
Let's try to get a chunk play here with Hovelson or Reamer, and then move on and have a third manageable.
As Maple River will come out again in that wishbone formation, 4-man front here for the Colts. Pitch play goes to Hovelson, looks to get to the boundary. Colts in pursuit, and Wolfcool with the tackle. About a 4-yard gain there for Hovelson. Hovelson now with his 25th carry here today.
Now you're into an interesting situation. You're into the wind. Your punt game has had, you know, its ups and downs this year between the long snaps and the actual kick. Are you willing to kick the ball into the wind and just run it here and try to just play the clock game, or are you going to take a shot here and hope to not have to punt it?
Yeah, this is one where if you're, maybe you mentioned it earlier, Nathan, maybe you give it to Hovelson in space on a quick little option play or possibly screen, but where we're seeing it here looks to be the run, or maybe find Silling going right up the seam again. This will be a pitch instead to Hovelson. Hovelson able to get to the outside. Another flag coming here as Hovelson is pushed out of bounds at the 27-yard line. It is a gain of about 5 to 6 yards, barring the penalty. And if it's on Maple River, it will be a 4th down, or you can take the 10 yards and move it back almost to about the 10. So do you want to punt at the 30, or do you push them back at the 10 right now if you're the Colts?
I think if there's no wind, you take the 4th down, but with this wind, I think you push them as close to your own goal line as possible. Keep pushing them back.
And they're going to decline it, so that will be a gain on the play of 6 yards for Hovelson, and Richland may be looking at the clock too, who's saying, hey, you know what, we got to get the ball back sooner rather than later, and we don't want a defensive penalty to allow Maple River to maybe get a chunk play and
absolutely
maybe get a 1st down then.
3rd and 27 sounds pretty appetizing to me rather than 4th and 10, but you're forcing him to punt.
As Satcham will come on to punt here back at his own 16. Wolfcool stands back at midfield for Richland. High snap here. Satcham looking to get the ball off. He does. This ball's going to hang up in the wind, and Maple River will down it at the 36-yard line for a net of 9 yards. So Richland still hanging around here. If they get another score, all of a sudden it's a 2-score game with 3:18 left to play here in this third quarter.
And Calvin Satcham did a really good job. 9 yards sounds terrible, but it sounds pretty good when you saw where that snap was and how many guys were bearing down on him. Just to get it off into the wind and kick it, 20-plus yards is impressive.
And if you're Richland, you had an opportunity on the fumble, unable to score. Now you get the ball back here with 3:18. Neither team has scored here in this third quarter. Next scorer could very much determine the differential of this game if Richland can get on the run. Wolfcool on the sweep play gets tripped up by the shoelaces by Liam Satcham, who has had himself a really nice game at that defensive tackle spot. Wolfcool with a gain of 1.
I don't think there's many D tackles that can run down a running back in the backfield like Liam just did right there, but he's not exactly a D tackle build, but with the guys that they have on this team, you play where you got to play.
2nd down and 9 upcoming. Here is the Richland Colts. Will go back under center here with Nick Muniz in this same formation that they've ran the entirety of the contest in throughout this season. In this full house field, this goes to Wolfcool. Wolfcool with a little option to spin his way to about the 32 for a gain of 3. So 3rd and 6 upcoming here.
Marty Rohrbeck kind of unblocked as a D tackle there. Made a good play in the backfield just to try to keep him from getting 4, 5, 6 yards there.
So it's going to be 3rd and medium here for the Richland Colts. Wolfcool so far 8 carries for 33 yards. His best play from scrimmage, a 19-yard rush earlier on here in the third quarter. Just over 2 minutes left to play in the third on our City of Hope scoreboard in a game that had kicked off right at high noon earlier today. Full house backfield again. Muniz has some time. Muniz will wind it at the 15. Incomplete. Looking for Bido there on a deep out pattern, and that'll make it 4th down and long.
You can mark it down. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Raiders made their first non-special teams play sub of the entire game. You've had 9 guys going both ways the entire game thus far.
As the wind continues to pick up throughout this one, again, here in Hope, it's been windy throughout. Maybe hasn't played as big of a role as what you might if you had 2 teams that like to pass the football 40 times in a game, but regardless, it's 4th down here for the Richland Colts. They will need the 26 of Maple River for the first. We'll see if it's a Wolfcool opportunity or do you use him as a little bit of a decoy. Muniz under center. Looking, only one man went out into the route in Xander, and they missed him at the 20-yard line, and that'll be a turnover on downs.
Very good pressure once again from the Raider defensive line, getting to him. I think he was uncomfortable. If he could have had one more second, he had the guy wide open.
That's just one of those where you're looking to send one guy out to the field, and they had him for an opportunity there, just unable to convert. And if you're Maple River, this is just like a team that you just want to put away, but you just haven't found a drive. As this has already been the 6th possession now of the second half combined. In the first half, we just had 8 combined. Hovelson with a head of steam to the 35-yard line and spins his way to the 36 for a gain of 5. 27 carries, 141 yards for one of the homecoming kings here in this co-op for Maple River. Now 2nd down upcoming, but Hoots, as we mentioned, we've seen the game more on the Maple River side of the 50 here, and if you're the Raiders, you're fine with the score not moving because the clock has moved, but if you're Richland right now, there's been some opportunities that have come awry right now for the Colts.
Yeah, if this final score is 28-6, I don't think you're going to hear Coach Fontaine complaining a whole lot. Just play keep away here in this 3rd and 4th quarter.
So 2nd down and 5 here for Maple River, as again they'll be in the wing, the wishbone offense here. This one will be a handoff yet again to Hovelson. Hovelson pushes the pile to about the 40-yard line. A couple of Colts able to come in on the tackle. Elliot Bido underneath on that pile, and that'll be a gain of 4 yards.
Just tick, 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 tick. Every single second is extremely important to this Raiders offense. Just try to drain this thing away.
Maple River with a fumble and a punt so far here in this quarter. Richland with the punt, turnover on downs, and turnover on downs. And this could be the final play of the quarter with a 1st down here that stays in bounds here for Maple River. In wishbone formation, they will need the 41 for the first. 3 feet, 1 yard, however you want to put it. QB keeper here by Silling, and Silling's going to get met. Wolfcool brings him down for the tackle, but Silling able to get the couple of yards for the first down here for Maple River, and Silling will have his first rush of this second half. I think that's the difference maker than the fullback trap there to roar back there, Hoots.
Yeah, I like that too. We talked earlier, T got that first QB sneak where he stood up straight and kind of took a shot. We don't want that anymore if you're a Raider fan, so did a good job of just putting his shoulders pads down and getting that first down.
And that'll end the third quarter here in Hope, North Dakota in the opening round of the 9B playoffs on our City Hope scoreboard. It's 28-6 Maple River over Richland on your live event.
Farmers, are you expanding, upgrading, or want to automate? Visit with the experienced staff at Hope Electric to learn about the latest electrical systems and the newest technologies that they have developed to make your operation more efficient. Get a custom system in place with features like iPad truck loading and remote view grain storage, touchscreen controls, hazard monitoring systems, and wireless cellular cameras to protect your assets. Hope Electric, serving the agricultural and commercial industry since 1978. Visit hopeelectric.com or call 701-945-2460.
A reminder still to come on our post-game show. We'll get to our Enbridge Energy player of the game. Also, our RDK Enterprises Precision play of the game. That and more still to come on our post-game show. I'd like to thank the City of Hope for providing today's scoreboard sponsor. Work and play in Hope, North Dakota. From job listings and housing options, search hopeand.com. That again is hopeand.com. Chase Miller, Nathan Hoots, Jake Watroba with you here in Hope. Well, it's turned out to be not so bad of a fall afternoon. If you take Mother Nature and say put the wind home, you might enjoy a little grill out or a little barbecue, but with the wind, not so much. 12 minutes away, though, for the Raiders to picking up their first postseason win in program history as a co-op again here for the Hope Page and Maple Valley school districts. First down and 10 now for the Raiders at their own 42-yard line. As this will come across, and a chance here for Dylan Reamer. Reamer spins to the 45-yard line, and bringing him down is going to be Levi Olveen, and a gain of 3.
See Dylan Reamer there. He got to the outside and immediately got two hands on the ball. That was probably talked about here in between the third and fourth quarter huddle by Coach Fontaine. Just hang on to the football. No matter what happens, we don't turn it over and we don't make a special teams mistake, and we'll be just fine.
For the postseason next week, it'll be the second round of the 9B playoffs. The opening round of the 11B playoffs begins, and then a week from Friday, so about 13 days from now, would be the 11A and AA playoffs, and then Dakota Bowl 30 on November the 11th from the Fargo Dome. Second down and 7, and as Hoots said, put two arms on the ball if you're Maple River. If you're Richland, got to find a way to keep possessions and get the ball back. Holvelson gets tripped up at the 50-yard line for a gain of 5. It looks like Wolfcool on the tackle. That will be a gain of 5, though, for Holvelson. And we've seen Clay with that little extra speed to get to the outside and able to get those couple of extra yards.
Seems like so many times when he runs sweep this year, once he gets to the numbers, it looks like nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden, foot in the ground, 4 or 5 yards. He did a nice job here. T. Silling did looking up, making sure that back judge, he puts his hands up when that play clock's at 10, and then he starts counting down at 5. He is taking his time in the huddle, snap this thing under 5, and try to just wear the clock.
Third down and short for the Raiders right at midfield. See if the Colts can make a stand here. Reamer going to be awfully close. They will depend on the spot. They need the 48. It's either going to be a half-yard shy, and it is, but a yard shy as they're going to mark it back at about the 48.5, so it's about a half-yard shy here for the first.
Just run a sneak, take another 2 minutes off the clock.
That's exactly what Maple River's trying to do. If you're Richland here, Hoots, when you start worrying about the clock, I mean, you're already worrying about it, but when you maybe start thinking about using a timeout or two, understanding it's all about possessions at this point, and at least if the score is where it's at right now, you need the ball 3 times to get 3 times in the end zone.
Yeah, you're probably not looking to use those timeouts till under 5 at least, but this is a really big play right here.
4th and short for Maple River. Handoff goes to your bread and butter, and Holvelson, and the senior delivers past the 40, and he's taken down at about the 35-yard line for the first down, and they'll mark him at the 34 for a gain of 15 yards.
I guess Holvelson can't get it if you run sneak, so just run that right there. That works pretty well.
Maple River with this win would improve to 6-3 on the season. For the Richland Colts, with this loss, as the score holds, they would finish the 2022 campaign at 4-5. 5 seniors here for Richland in Teddy Flott, Elliot Bido, Tanner Zander, Hans Wyman and Caden Carlson. They're on the verge of potentially playing their last game here in the Powder Blues for the Richland Colts. Wing. Wishbone formation again here for Maple River. Handoff. This goes to Reamer. Reamer to the outside. Looks for a stiff arm at the 30. And Reamer able to get 4 yards on the rush here. And tick, 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 tick continues on that City of Hope scoreboard.
The Raiders running backs, both Reamer and Hovelson, are doing a nice job. They're getting outside, but then they're getting down in bounds. That's 40 seconds you're taking off the clock if you decide to go down in bounds. Even though it may be a yard or two you're sacrificing, but 40 seconds is way more important than those yards right now.
Maple River 6 points in the first quarter, 22 in the second. Richland scoreless in the first, 6 points in the second, and both teams again were scoreless in the third quarter. So the difference maker has really been the second quarter. Maple River has yet to trail here today. Marty Rohrbeck right up Main Street, able to get the first down and some for a gain of 6 yards.
I think as we move the chains here for a first down, it appears, I think we can take a second to acknowledge the turnaround that Richland's made here in the last couple of years.
Yes.
They were either the 2 or 3 wins a couple years back, 1 win a year ago, and this year they're playing on Saturday in October. That's Coach Worry deserves a ton of credit. I don't think at the beginning of the year many people gave them much of a shot to crack the top 3 in Region 1.
Especially with Hankinson, Weimar, Lidgerwood, Lemoore, Litchmarion. That's a very tough region. Luke Worry, 3rd year as the head coach, 5 years in the program here for the Richland Colts. First down and 10, fresh set of downs again for Maple River. Pitch play goes to Hovelson. Hovelson makes a cutback at the 20, and he's taken down at about the 17-yard line for a gain of 6 yards.
Another 5-6 yards on first down. That has been the story of the game. Richland has been unable to make it 2nd and 8 or longer pretty much the entire game. With the Raiders 2nd and 5 or less, they're getting a first down probably 80% of the time.
And to your point earlier, who it's Richland 9-man champs in 2005, 2015. Maybe give them a couple years 2025 if you go by tradition. Every 10 years you find a way. But this is a team that, as you mentioned, able to have a couple of lean years there go through the program. They're going to lose 5 seniors, but Coach Worry said that junior varsity and junior high are looking really good for numbers moving forward here for the Richland Colts. 2nd down and 5 coming here. Reamer gets to about the 16-yard line. A handful of Colts were there. Wolfcool Flying Company, but another couple of yards makes it 3rd and short, and the clock continues to wind here. Maple River started with it with 1:52 left in the third quarter, and right now it's been the 3 yards and a cloud of dust show.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want in this situation. Now Richland, not exactly built like the 2005 and 2015 champs that they had, where it was like the greatest show on turf. They had athletes all over the field, but they're building it the way that they feel is the right way to win, and they're certainly taking steps in the right direction. They got their stud coming back.
3rd and 3 here for Maple River. They'll need the Colts 13 inside. This goes to Rohrbeck. Rohrbeck with a stiff arm. Hot steps into the end zone, and that could be your dagger. With 6:16 left to play on our City of Hope scoreboard, Rohrbeck to the house with a 16-yard house call.
Awesome to see Rohrbeck after he kind of handed the ball away middle of that third quarter. They gave him the ball a couple different times. Coach Fontaine trusts him. Give him a couple more chances, and then rewards him right there with that big play.
And missed tackle on the inside. A little bit of a stiff arm there for Rohrbeck as well. Able to go 16 yards for the touchdown. And Maple River now leads at 34-6 with a 2-point conversion upcoming here for the Raiders. Maple River averaging 31 points per game. Well, they've been able to surpass that here defensively. Able to give up 25, but their defense has been in sync so far here today. Hovelson, 2-point opportunity. Pitch play gets the block by Reamer into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. And a new score on our City of Hope scoreboard with 6:16 left to play in regulation. It's the Maple River Raiders 36 and the Richland Colts 6 on your live event.
District is moving forward with the plan to build a new pre-K classroom, community fitness center, and gymnasium with locker rooms. The classroom will provide more space for a growing pre-K program. The fitness center will provide opportunities to benefit all Maple Valley communities, and the gym will allow more opportunities for all activities of the Maple River Co-op. Plus, the plan is to build with no new taxes. Contact the business manager to see how you can help make this a reality today at 701-749-2570.
The Maple Valley Parents Organization is an organization whose main purpose is to support all Maple Valley student activities and to promote a healthy environment and attitudes for the youth. Their aim is to encourage growth and interest in these areas by supporting them in a sportsmanlike manner. The Maple Valley Parents Organization is open to anyone. If you'd like to become a member or see upcoming events, like their Facebook page by searching Maple Valley Parents Organization on Facebook.
6:16 left to play here in the fourth quarter. 36-6, Maple River with the advantage over the Richland Colts. A 69-yard drive that eats up 7 minutes and 36 seconds off the clock, capped off by a 16-yard touchdown by Marty Rohrbeck. And Hoots, we were saying, when might Maple River get have that knockout punch, and when might Richland maybe hang around, get a score, and make it a ball game? Well, the first thing happened in the knockout punch there for Maple River.
That certainly was the knockout punch. We got a little delay here. I think he had the ball slightly in front of the 40-yard line with his alignment.
As then the ball comes off the tee as well. So the Richland Colts, we mentioned, 5 seniors will be leaving. They had pretty much a play-in to get into a playoffs game against Hankinson last week down in Hankinson, able to top them 22-19. But bringing back a good core upcoming here, and this one going to be off of Gorder, and Richland will have it right at midfield here, actually in Maple River territory at the Raiders' 49-yard line. 8th drive of the game for the Richland Colts. Richland turnover on downs, downs again, touchdown on the kickoff return, half, punt, downs, and downs here for Richland.
Now the Raiders defense certainly has showed up this morning, this afternoon, and the entire game. The wind has played a factor, certainly, in limiting the passing opportunities for the Colts, but the Raiders are getting pressure every play.
Well, after this play, we'll have a stat for you where Colts fans are going, this is reminiscent of what's happened in the season in some losses. Handoff, Wolfcool. Wolfcool gets the 40-yard line. Wolfcool still on his feet at the 30-yard line, and Wolfcool pushed out of bounds at about the 23-yard line for a gain of 27. Wolfcool got nearly half of his yards on one play, 9 carries for 60 yards. But Hoots in 4 games this year for Richland, they have lost 35-5. Our City of Hope scoreboard, 36-6, almost right on the average for your numbers.
Yeah, there's been quite the divide, it seems like, between the wins and losses for both of these teams here. And see if the Raiders show up next week and bridge that gap.
As the Richland Colts will come out here at that full house backfield yet again. This will be a handoff to Wolfcool. Wolfcool's going to get stepped up, and Hovelson comes in for the tackle. I mentioned to Luke Worry earlier, I would like to see Hovelson and Wolfcool play the Oklahoma drill here, Hoots. 5 times, both of you get the ball at the 5-yard line. See who gets in more times than not.
I think you'd probably have to give the speed advantage to Wolfcool, but if you're talking the Oklahoma drill where you don't have a whole lot of room to run, Hovelson's probably got the strength advantage. So, I would probably take 3 out of 5, maybe 4 out of 5 with Hovelson.
It would be a lot of fun. That's all that I know, because I'm not the one getting hit. 2nd and 9 upcoming here for Richland. Opportunity for Muniz. Muniz looks to break a tackle, does at the 20 to about the 19-yard line and make it the 18, so a couple yards there on the gain for Muniz. For the Richland Colts here, again, we mentioned 4-5 on the season. They'll finish with wins over Griggs Dakota, Tri-State, Hetton Northwood, and Hankinson. Losses now will be twice to Maple River, Mayport, CG, Wymer, Lidgewood, and Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion. And we'll see how good Region 1 and Region 2 is in 9-man football traditionally. Been tough regions to crack, particularly with some of those schools that have been there as well. Next year might be some new teams in 9-man football with some of the reclassification. Here's a handoff to Flaw, and, well, why not? The defensive end that's came in with a handful of sacks. Wyatt Silling stands him up in the backfield, and that might be a tackle for a loss of 1.
Great pressure by Connor Dahl to initiate the pressure in the backfield, and then, like you said, Wyatt Silling cleaning up the process.
Coming up on our post-game show, we'll hear from some of the particular players, and head coach Larry Fontaine here for the Maple River Raiders in their win here today over the Richland Colts. Take a look at the final numbers. Our Enbridge Energy Player of the Game, RDK Enterprises Precision Play of the Game, that and more all still to come on our post-game show here in Hope, North Dakota on your live event. Chase Miller, Nathan Hoots, and Jake Watroba. 4th down upcoming here for the Richland Colts as they will need the Raiders' 13-yard line as Richland looking to get in the end zone here for the first time in the second half. Muniz, a junior, Wolfkuhl, a junior, Doctor, a sophomore, Teddy Flaw is the senior in the backfield here. This one, step for Muniz. Muniz gets hit as he throws and almost picked off by Hovelson, but guess who? Wyatt Silling with the pressure.
His pressure's kind of been the difference every time the Colts decide to drop back and pass. He seems like he's just living in the backfield. He's getting off the ball faster in that tight end, and he is just making plays every time he gets in the backfield.
Maple River will have their 8th possession of the game here. This will be at their own 18-yard line, and a chance to seal this one away with just 1 first down for Maple River. Touchdown, 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 and also a touchdown in the first half. They were perfect in the first half. Then a fumble, a punt, and then a touchdown for the Raiders in the second half so far. So they've been efficient when they've had the ball here for Maple River. As again, it's going to be in the wishbone formation. Handoff will be to Reamer. Reamer looks for a little bit of a crease, gets past the 20 to the 21-yard line. 3 yards on the carry for Reamer, 6 carries for 16 yards. How is this Maple River team grown since playing Lemoore Litchfield Marion Hoots, where in game number 1 we saw maybe more of a spread formation, but in the second half they ran the ball with some consistency against Lemoore, and I think that's when everything kind of clicked a little bit for new players and new school districts kind of working together here, and now we see more of the power game since week number 1.
That was definitely a feeling out process in that first game, and probably the team you want to play the least when you're trying to feel out what you are as a program is Lemoore. and in that first game, it was tough. The whole first half, they were just tinkering with different things, trying to figure out what works for them, and now we're here.
2nd down and 7 here for the Maple River Raiders. Handoff, this will be to Reamer again, and Reamer falls forward to about the 23-yard line, and coming down the tackle was Wade Gorder, the junior, here for a couple of yards for Reamer. Taking a look at Richland defensively here. Cannon Carlson, as we mentioned, on the line will play his final game. Gorder's a junior. Wyman at linebacker spot with Bido. Both will be gone. Wolfkuhl, a linebacker, back next season. Teddy Flaw is the lone senior in the secondary with Olvin, the junior, Severson, the junior, and Preston Schmidt, the sophomore, as well, from your starters earlier here in the contest. So Richland will be bringing back a good core, and next season they will finish, again, 4 wins and 5 losses on the year here for the Richland Colts. 3rd down upcoming and 5 for Maple River. First down away from milking the rest of this clock. Handoff, this goes to Hovelson. Hovelson to the 25 to the 26-yard line. Able to get about 3 yards on the play here for Hovelson. Now 32 carries for 174 yards here for Hovelson and 2 touchdowns. How about those numbers for bringing your lunch pail kind of work kind of numbers?
It's pretty impressive. Every single time he's touched the ball, I think he had 1 negative play, and you could maybe blame that on somebody else when he had that 9 or 10 yard loss. But besides that, he's falling forward. He's getting those hard yards that you don't want to get hit on a day like today. I know it's not real cold out, but it's colder than it has been most of the year, and he's just delivering blows every time he carries the ball.
4th down upcoming here. Maple River, they can milk the clock as much as they want, call a timeout, or they could try to get the playoff right at 1 T going under center, and he'll take the timeout here with 1 second. We'll break with him. 23 seconds left to play. It's the 9B playoffs on your live event.
Farming today doesn't always feel the same way it used to. Then again, some of it feels all the same. Maybe it isn't so much the jobs that changed, but how they get done. Now that's a different story. Efficiencies are critical, which is why you need a lender who will find the right loan structure for a strong financial future. You need a lender to look out for your whole farm operation. Ag Country.
Postgame show again coming up around the corner here on your live event. Maple River able to get 1 score here in the 4th quarter. A Rohrbeck 16-yard rushing touchdown with 6:16 left to play. 2-point conversion by Hovelson. And that's the only points in the second half, as it was at halftime, 28-6. So Maple River didn't need to show much for Richland in the second half if they held the lead in the score, and they were able to. Maple River will come on and try to punt this ball off. Sandstrom will try to get it off, and it's partially blocked. He takes a hit, does get the right-footed end-over-end hit on this one. That will roll to about the 43-yard line, but Calvin Jackson Santrum was fortunate to get that ball off instead of being a Richland Colt block and maybe going the other way here.
Yeah, I'd really like to see them clean that up. Whether it's either a good snap and a bad catch and a bad kick, or it's a bad snap and then he's barely getting it off. They got to clean that up, because if they're going to punt next week, they're going to have to net 30-40 yards to justify punting against that Lemoore defense.
And Lemoore Litchfield beat Maple River back to open up the season here in Hope after a 45-minute lightning delay as well midway through the game, 50-0. So it'll be nearly 2 months to the date when those two teams played from the first time to where they're at now, back on August the 19th. Full house backfield again for Nick Muniz. Might be the final play from scrimmage, potentially. Muniz has some time, looks down the field. That's going to be caught at the 40-yard line here for the Richland Colts to about the 36-yard line. And we'll see if we got a timeout beforehand or not, as this one will be to the 36, and the Richland Colts took a shot as well to the outside here. And that'll be to Tanner Zander here after the completion that was able to net 24 yards on the pitch and catch. And we'll see if they got the timeout before.
Yeah, they are granting him the timeout, yes.
The end of the game, as the cannon does go off. The Richland Colts coming to midfield. Maple River going back to play defense, and I think they might say it is a dead ball and the game instead of 1 second left to play, and it looks like that will be the final. So that will be the final in this one. On our City of Hope scoreboard, it's official. The Maple River Raiders, in the first year of the co-op on the football field, pick up a victory in the postseason and improve to 6-3 on the season, while the Richland Colts, they fall today in the opening round of the playoffs, and they fall to 4-5 overall on the year. Maple River, the difference, the second quarter, 22 points to 6 in the second quarter, as the Raider faithful are making their way and encouraging their team. For the Richland Colts, always tough to have your season come to a close, no matter where it's at and where it is. 5 seniors are done here for Richland one more time. Teddy Flaw, Elliot Bido, Tanner Zander, Hans Wiseman, and Caden Carlson here for Richland. Tip of the cap to Luke Warriors Club here for the Colts. They come up short today, and congratulations to Coach Larry Fontaine's Raiders. We're back after this with our post-game show on your live event.
We've been around long enough to know that research in the lab reaps rewards in the field. At the Cess van der Haaf Innovation Center, we're working to develop sugar beet varieties that thrive despite the pressures from disease and the challenges of nature. We're dedicated to improving what we produce, so you can be too. Contact your local Cess van der Haaf dealer to learn about our varieties suited for your soils, because sharing the pride of success starts with sharing the passion to achieve it. Cess van der Haaf, a passion that grows.
My roots run deep. I dream of a world where planting a seed can bring forth the food and knowledge our world needs right now. The field is my classroom, and I have the power to make a difference. I am going to feed the world someday.
We'll get to our final numbers here in this one, but again, your final on the City of Hope scoreboard, 36-6 Maple River over the Richland Colts, as both teams are getting their final talking to for Richland. Luke Worry for the Maple River Raiders again, and Larry Fontaine. Nathan Hoots with us. Let's get to now our Enbridge Energy Player of the Game. Tomorrow is happening right now. More than ever, the world needs safe, secure, sustainable, and affordable sources of energy. Visit tomorrowison.com. Enbridge, life takes energy. And Hoots, we were talking off air, you had Mr. Senior himself, Clay Hovelson, 32 carries for 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, a reception, and 4 yards, and a bevy of tackles. Clay Hovelson, our Enbridge Energy Player of the Game.
Yeah, the kid certainly showed up, as did the entire team. But, man, every time he got the ball, it seemed like we were looking at, okay, first and 10 is now 2nd and 4. 2nd and 4 is now 1st and 10. Every single time he touched the ball, good things were happening. And anytime you don't give him the ball, Reamer's getting a look, and he's getting good yardage because there's so many guys that are keying to make sure he doesn't beat him.
And Enbridge Energy here again, our player of the game. And how about this for Energy? An hour 47-minute football game here today in Hope. From there, let's get to our RDK Enterprises Precision Play of the Game. RDK Enterprises, well, they wish you a safe harvest, and once you're done with that harvest, why don't you check out that planter and bring it into RDK Enterprises with locations in Hillsboro and Drayton, or call 701-636-2119. You can visit planterdoc.com. They thank the area growers for your trust in RDK Enterprises as your planter experts. And make sure, again, for anything that you have for performances, for service, check them out today here coming up. And for RDK Enterprises Precision Play of the Game, Nathan, for you, I know we mentioned it a little bit earlier. Is it what we saw, the Severson pass down the field? Stephen Drogan, at that time, it was a quick shot for Richland, trailing it by 6. If they score, who knows what happens? It might be an 8-6 Richland lead, at least a tie. Where do you go with the RDK Enterprises Play of the Game?
Yeah, nothing in the second half changed my mind on what was the play of the game in the first half with Drogan making that play on the ball. Yeah, could have changed the fortunes for the Colts if that play doesn't get made by Drogan, and it's 6 points for the Colts. Unfortunately for them, it went the way of the Raiders, and so did the rest of the game.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll allow Hoots to grab some players, head coach Larry Fontaine, and more. And we'll take a look at the final numbers. Again, Rainbow River advances with a 36-6 victory.
Harvest is here, and that means we all need to be careful. Hello, this is Bethany Rentz with Irie Insurance. We want to make sure everyone up and down the valley has a safe and successful harvest. Take extra special care in your travels. Slow-moving combines, mud-covered roads, and debris are just a few things during harvest that can be dangerous. So take your time, watch your surroundings, and most of all, be patient and slow down. For more harvest safety tips, go to irieins.com.
You're protected and appreciated at Irie.
Irie Insurance is an equal opportunity provider.
Dakota Heritage Bank, serving you with 10 locations across North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota, has a strong background in ag and business lending, but they can also help with auto, recreational, personal, or home loans, including home equity lines of credit. Dakota Heritage Bank is a family-owned community bank where decisions are made locally. Our friendly staff greets you with a smile, takes the time to get to know you, and can help you with your banking needs. Visit us online, dhbanknd.com. Dakota Heritage Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Back here on your live event, joining us now is Nathan Hoots, head football coach with Larry Fontaine. And Hoots, you can bring Fontaine around. Let's take a look at the camera angle here, and you can use Larry's back a little bit for the windshield, as Larry's going to be having a nice smile down there as well. Nathan, let's toss it down to you.
Absolutely. Hey, Coach, all smiles here after that win. Talk to me, when you woke up this morning and you saw the wind, did that change anything that you had planned from your entire week of practice?
Not really, no, Coach. We put in the Wildcat on Tuesday, and then the wind and the weather, the weather really affected our practice. We didn't practice on Wednesday. It's too dang cold. So, Thursday and Friday, all of our practices, we got them in and out, and boom. We threw the Wildcat in today, and I don't know if Richland was ready for that. So, hats off to our kids. It was a team win, team game. They played hard. Everybody contributed. It was a great win for our program and a great win for our kids, and I'm so proud of them. It's unreal. Great kids.
Okay, a lot of positive things happened today. If you want to close that gap between you and Lemoore, what are some things that happened today that you want to clean up this week going into that game next Saturday?
Richland is a very good football team. They ran the ball at will against Hankinson last week, and if we can play defense like we played today, we have a shot against number 1 Lemoore. Our defense stopped their run game. Lemoore has a great run game in 85 and Ness passing, but our defense played outstanding today. Richland, hats off. Wolfkill had over 1,000 yards this year, and we shut him out today. Clay's mission was 23, and he shut him out. Our kids, if we can play defense like that, we got a shot.
All right, Coach, congratulations on the win. Good luck with this week of practice, and good luck this week against Lemoore.
Roger that.
All right, Chase, back to you.
That again, head coach Larry Fontaine with Nathan Hoots there, as we'll hear from a player or two upcoming here in a moment in Hope. But again, your final 36-6. The final, as we take a look at some of the final numbers in this one, 296 yards of total offense for Maple River. They had 234 on the ground, 62 passing to 234 on the ground. While for Clay Hovelson, 16 carries, 174 yards, and 2 touchdowns here. As let's send it down back to Nathan Hoots, standing by with Mr. Senior Running Back himself in Clay Hovelson on our postgame show.
Clay, just another workmanlike game for you. 30-plus carries, over 100 yards, couple touchdowns. Talk to me me about something that you saw maybe during the week of practice watching film in Richland that you thought you could take advantage of.
Throughout the week, we saw that their ends weren't going to be able to contain the best, so we tried getting outside, and we did that a few times today.
I thought you guys did a tremendous job, especially coming down the stretch, understanding the situation. You and both Dylan got outside, but then stayed in bounds. Well-coached team. You guys did a great job just understanding the situation. Do you guys work on situational stuff a whole lot during the week, or is it just X's and O's?
We usually just do X's and O's. That just comes later on.
Okay, well, I couldn't say enough good things about you guys today. You did an awesome job. Wolf Cool did, over 1,000 yards just like you this year. Anything special that you guys did to make sure that he wasn't going to be the one that made you guys lose today?
We tried getting a body on him every play. He made a lot of tackles. He's probably their best player, so we tried getting a body on him every play.
All right. It's been 2+ months since you played Lemoore. What happened today or in the last 2 months that has changed your mind to think that there's something that you can do to make that a game next week?
We're going to come out and give it to them. We're not going to take anything lightly. Just like this game, we're just going to come out and try to beat them.
All right, I love that mindset. Congratulations and good luck this week against Lemoore.
Thank you, Hoots.
Thank you very much, Nathan Hoots, and we'll try to maybe get one more interview here before we're done. I know a couple of guys are down there, whether it's Liam or possibly Wyatt Silling, still hanging out with some of the families. This is what you love about high school football at particular times, is once the game is done, the family members are there, able to get a bear hug, able to take some photos. Nowadays, the kids call them selfies, I know, for a while. That's also out there as well. And, well, a guy that was able to hold Richland under 100 yards of offense, 40 yards on 22 attempts, 98 yards of total offense, is standing by now with our own Nathan Hoots. That, again, is Liam Santrum. Had a really nice day on the defensive side. Hoots, let's toss it to you.
Liam, you kind of lived in the backfield tonight of the Richland Colts offense, but talk to me about the beginning of the year. You go from playing quarterback last year for Finley Sharon Hope Page, and then you transition to playing guard. Talk to me about the mindset that it takes to go from playing what everybody calls the glamour position to just coming and being the guy that pushes guys around and doing the job that you do.
It was tough, but beginning of season at camp, saw T. T's a really good quarterback, and I thought he's probably better than me, so I had to make the transition, and I've been having fun playing guard. So.
All right, I tell you what, as a guy that got to coach T last year and got to watch you play last year, I could not believe the way that you stepped right in, did your job, and it was just like, hey, whatever's best for the team. So awesome job on that. Now, defensively, what are you guys going to have to do differently from today next week in order to come up and get a win against Lemoore?
Oh, I don't know. Lemoore's a really good team. We'll have to stop all their weapons, and I don't know, it'll be tough, but I think we can play with them.
All right, just keep plugging along. Congratulations. Good luck this week at Lemoore.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liam Satcham, the senior there, talking with Nathan Hoots. When we come back after this one, we'll take a look at the final stats and our final thoughts as we get ready for the rest of the 9B playoffs and the second round next weekend on your live event.
Hey, what you doing?
Crawling around under my planter trying to figure out if I need any maintenance parts replaced.
It's harvest time, buddy.
Yeah, I know, but the guys at RDK Enterprises keep reminding me to check now, just in case I need something ordered.
What do I look for?
Just give RDK a call and ask some questions. They are the guys I go to for answers.
This is Chris from RDK Enterprises, your local precision planting dealer. We will answer all of your planter questions or come out to your farm and take a look at your planter. Give us a call, 701-636-2119 or planterdoc.com.
Stay up to date with the latest goings-on in the region with the Coaches Show every Wednesday night on yourliveevent.com.
Goes deep down the middle, has a man, Soka Porter. Soka Porter to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, and taken down there.
We'll dive into the latest stories from North Dakota and Minnesota.
And there's the block by Reese.
That's the Coaches Show with me, Joe Lancello, on yourliveevent.com every Wednesday night starting at 7.
Final numbers in this one for Maple River. Again, 296 yards of total offense with 234 on the air. They were led by Mr. Hovelson himself, 32 carries, 2 touchdowns, 174 yards. Marty Rohrbeck, 7 carries, 36 yards, and a score. Reamer, 7 carries for 8 yards, and T. Silling, 5 carries for 16 yards. T through the air, didn't have to pass in the second half, went 4 of 6 for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 of those scores, a 21-yard strike to his older brother Wyatt, and a 34-yard strike as well. Wyatt, 2 catches for 2 touchdowns and 55 yards. Rohrbeck, 1 for 3, and Hovelson, 1 for 4. 1 turnover, a fumble, 3 penalties for 20 yards here for Maple River. For the Richland Colts, they have finished with 98 yards of offense, 40 on the ground, over 22 attempts and 58 yards passing. Nick Muniz through the air went 4 of 8 for 58 yards. Cass Severson went 0 of 1 through the air. Leading rusher, Wolf Cool, 10 carries, 61 yards. Schmidt had 3 for 4. Muniz with some sacks and tackle for losses, 6 for -23, and Flaw 3 for -2. Xander, 2 catches for 37 yards. Bido, 1 for 18, and Severson, 1 for 8. 0 turnovers and no penalties on the Richland Colts. So with the win for Maple River, it sets up a rematch of the season opener against Lemoore Litchfield-Marion a week from today in Lemoore against the undefeated #1 team in 9B football, going up against the 6-3 Maple River Raiders coming up. Again, that'll be a week from Saturday. And for more high school playoff football, make sure you go to yourliveevent.com for what games that we'll have next weekend for 9B or 11B, depending on the matchups and how everything falls here as well. Big thank you goes out to all of our sponsors, including those behind the scenes that are making this happen. Make sure you patronize those sponsors. Without them, we would be unable to be here. So the final again, the Richland Colts go to 4-5 on the season. Maple River now at 6-3 after the 36-6 win here in a game that finished in 1 hour and 47 minutes here in Hope, North Dakota. On behalf of Nathan Hoots and Jake Wetruba, I'm Chase Miller. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, Maple River with the victory over Richland.